Tonight, behind closed doors, Lisa Brady, Fox News. The acting Secret Service Director Ronald BREW holding meetings with members of Congress about the Trump assassination attempt.
This is his first time meeting in person with large groups of lawmakers since he testified on Capitol Hill just a couple weeks after the former president was shot in Butler, Pennsylvania. Now, BREW promised a full review by the Secret Service of the failures leading up to that shooting. Fox News is told the mission assurance investigation, the internal probe run by the acting director, Ron BREW, and the Secret Service looking at failures is near complete and will be presented to Congress and then the public soon.
Fox's David Spund in Washington. The FBI continues a separate investigation of the shooter. Trump rallies later today in Arizona. Vice President Kamala Harris also returns to campaigning after their Tuesday debate, holding 2 rallies in North Carolina. North Dakota's abortion ban has just been struck down in court. A state judge ruling the North Dakota Constitution creates a fundamental right to abortion access before a fetus is viable, and that the ban violates the Constitution because it's too vague. The ruling comes as the state was trying to dismiss a lawsuit from what had been the only abortion clinic in the state, which has since moved over the border to Minnesota. New York City Mayor Eric Adams just confirming the sudden resignation of his police commissioner, Edward Caban, days after federal agents raided the homes of Caban, his twin brother, and other city officials, seizing electronic devices. The mayor steering clear of that and praising Caban's record.
In his time as part of the NYPD during our administration, we removed more than 18,000 illegal guns off our streets.
In a resignation letter, Caban calls serving as NYPD commissioner the greatest honor of his career, but says news around recent developments has created a distraction. The subject of the federal probe has not been confirmed. America is listening to Fox News.
Seems like there's more identity theft in the news every day.
Another major healthcare breach was reported today, resulting in the exposure.
Now, 1 in 4 consumers have been a victim of identity.
That's because there are endless places that could accidentally expose you to identity theft, in a breach, or simply by mistake. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
You can host the best backyard barbecue when you find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Kind of a warm evening around town. Temperatures in the 80s this evening. Partly cloudy skies. 66 should do it for the low. On Thursday, more and more clouds take over. So more clouds than sun. Certainly the afternoon will be cloudy. 86. Thursday night, developing showers, possible thunderstorms, mainly after midnight. 65. Friday, periods of tropical showers and possible thunderstorms. 74. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
You entrusted a nursing home with the care of a loved one, but they violated that trust. If your family member has been the victim of nursing home neglect, call Onder Law at 844-BEDSORE.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-699-1059. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-699-1059. That's 800-699-1059.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
If you're thinking of selling your home, I'm sure there are two things you want: certainty and the most money, right? Hi, it's Mark Cox, and if you've been listening to me for some time, you know the only agent I trust is Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, St. Louis real estate expert. Here's why she should be your first and only call when looking for an agent. Gloria doesn't make empty promises. No, she provides written guarantees. Now, what does this mean for you? Certainty. Now, certainty isn't the only thing you want. You also want the most money. Gloria is able to get her home sellers more money than the average agent because she already has the buyers. This is why Gloria will guarantee to sell your home at your agreed upon price, or she'll buy it. To get your guaranteed price, call St. Louis real estate expert Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
If you're looking for all the comforts of home plus some in a senior living community, check out Hampton Manor of Wentzville, just off the Lake St. Louis exit at Highway 70. They'll even treat you to lunch. Set up your appointment today and tell them Mark Cox sent you. WentzvilleAssistedLiving.com.
Now your ideas don't have to wait. Dell Technologies and Intel are pushing what technology can do, so great ideas can happen right now. Bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to Now.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
We had no problems when Trump was president, but when this weak, pathetic man that you saw at a debate just a few months ago, that if he weren't in that debate, he'd be running instead of her. She got no votes. He got 14 million votes. What you did, you talk about a threat to democracy. He got 14 million votes, and they threw him out of office. And you know what? I'll give you a little secret. He hates her. He can't stand her. But he got 14 million votes. They threw him out. She got 0 votes. And when she ran, she was the first one to leave because she failed. And now she's running. I don't understand it, but I'm okay with it because
your time is
I think we're going to do very well.
That sums up a lot, doesn't it? There you have David Muir. As soon as Donald Trump says, oh, he hates her, he's like, Mr. President, we don't talk like that here, at least not about other people than you. Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Happy 12:07 here in St. Louis. Happy Thursday. September 12th is a day on the calendar that I think that we all reflect on. Yesterday, of course, we talked quite a bit about September 11th. 23 years later after that horrific attack, and a lot of us remember what September 12th felt like as well. And here we are, back to the grind. Today's YouTube live chat poll, and this is one that we've got over 50 votes in this before the show even started. So I'm very curious to see how y'all are going to not just vote on it, but also weigh in on it, your comments. Does Joe Biden like Kamala Harris? We're interested in what you think about that. If you ask Donald Trump, he hates her. That's what he said in the poll. Vicky says on YouTube, I think he can't stand her, but he served her she served her purpose. How do you think this goes down? In my like fantasy land of politics and what could happen, if Joe Biden is as corrupt as I think he is, or his family is, we've got 2 different court cases where Hunter Biden is guilty. One, he was found guilty. The second one here just recently at the beginning of September, he pled guilty. He's going to be in some trouble. And I'm thinking that some of the trouble that Hunter Biden is going to find himself in with the current trial that is still taking place in California, that's the tax evasion one. That's where he didn't pay his taxes. But then, like, when people started to sniff around the fact that he didn't pay his taxes, he got somebody to come in and swoop in and help pay. I think it was millions. Wasn't it like $3 million in taxes or something?
Yeah, it was quite a large chunk of change.
Yeah. It's not something that folks like you and me would be able to just be like, just toss him a few mil and it'll be fine. So he had someone come in and take care of that, and then they're like, oh, everything's paid up, everything's fine. It's not fine. You can't do that. You have to, I think the phrase is, pay your fair share, like any of it. And then he said that he couldn't pay, or he couldn't be judged for this because he was not in the right state of mind because he was on drugs, but he did fill out tax forms, and he did claim his hookers and drugs on his taxes. It was right off. You feel when you're filling out your own tax forms or you're doing your taxes, aren't you like a little scared? If you're a rule follower, I'm a rule follower. You're filling it out and you're just thinking like, God dang it, I hope I do this. I hope I do this correctly. There's a cartoon out there. I can't remember who did it. And it's about somebody shows up. Oh, no, it wasn't a cartoon. It was something I saw on Twitter, and I wanted to share it on the air, but it was so filthy with language that it would lose its purpose playing it on the air with all the beeps that we'd have to put into it. And it's this person shows up at this other person's door, and it's like, hi, I'm here for the IRS. You owe me money. Pay me your money. And the guy answers the door. He's like, okay, how much do I owe you? And they're like, we can't tell you. And he's like, well, how am I supposed to pay you if you can't tell me how much you owe me? And they say, we've created tools for that. And he's like, and then the guy says, well, if you've created tools for that, why can't you use the tools to tell me how much I owe you, and then I'll pay you? And they're like, we can't do that. And then just go back and forth. And it's so threatening. The IRS showing up is so threatening about what's going to happen if you don't pay them the amount of money that they won't tell you that you owe. I mean, the entire premise of the old Democrat Party is the idea that the rich are going to pay more. Those in the lower class aren't going to pay really anything they're going to get. And then you got to define who's middle class and who's upper class and so on and so forth. But paying your fair share, you hear that? That's like the one consistent thing you hear from Democrat candidate to Democrat candidate to Democrat candidate, because it sells. Because the idea that the very wealthy, the privileged out there, getting to have all this money that they have enjoyed while other people aren't, that's an easy sell. Most people in a capitalistic society are motivated by seeing people who have things that they don't. The idea is that you then motivate yourself to work to get the things that other people have that you don't. For whatever reason, Hunter Biden is not part of the Democratic plan of paying your fair share. He has pled guilty, so I guess kudos to him for that. I don't know. When Donald Trump, going back to the idea of my fantasy land here, I want Donald Trump. Can we get the Trump video up here? Because I want to play this sound. It's unbelievable. Donald Trump, or Joe Biden, was in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, commemorating the Flight 93 9/11 tragedy. And he's in this room full of people, and I mean, there is a photo out there right now of him standing, posing with all these people. There's a lot of children there. I think it's in a fire department. And these children have on, I think they're red shirts with this white kind of outline of Donald Trump's head. And he's wearing sunglasses, and it says on the bottom, I'll be back. And so he's with all of these kids, all these people who are very eagerly supporting Donald Trump. And then he's talking to this guy. He's sitting there, this guy, this Pennsylvanian, is that how you say it? Man, sitting in this fire department. He's wearing a gray t-shirt, pocket on his left chest. He's got suspenders on. Is that the Punisher on his? What?
Kind of looks like it.
He's got these big, thick suspenders on. And he's wearing himself a red hat. And across the top of the red hat, it just says in big, bold blue letters, Trump. So Joe Biden shows up to this event to commemorate the Flight 93 tragedy. And then this exchange happens. Joe Biden's standing there holding a presidential hat with a presidential seal. Let's listen in.
Trump card, I'll give you my presidential hat. Presidential seal on it.
You want to autograph it?
Oh, sure, I'll autograph it.
Huh?
Yeah.
You remember your name?
I don't remember my name. I'm slow.
You're an old part. You're an old part.
Yeah, I know, man. I'm an old guy.
And you're an old part.
I know you would know about that.
What?
About being old.
Oh, I know. All right, I'm a young timer. He reminds me of the guys I grew up with. There was always one in the neighborhood. Well, I'm the only one. There you go, man. I need that hat. You want my autograph? Hell no. You know my name. Come on. I ain't going that far. Yeah. You said you would do a selfie.
He's holding Donald Trump's hat. And the hat goes on. The hat goes on Joe Biden's head. I saw this yesterday. What was I doing yesterday? Oh, I went to some volleyball games to watch some volleyball. And I was just kind of flipping through Twitter, maybe at a timeout or something like that. I wasn't coaching. I was watching. I don't look at Twitter in the huddle. That doesn't happen. I'm flipping through Twitter, and I saw this image of Joe Biden with this red Trump hat sitting on top of the hat that Joe Biden was wearing. And I'm like, nope. Just move on. I didn't read it. And then I scroll on later on that night when I get into bed, and I'm looking through Twitter, and I'm like, I see this video, and I'm like, my goodness, what happened? So I watched this whole video, and honestly, Joe Biden is incredibly endearing in that whole conversation. He's in a room full of Trump supporters. He's talking to them. He's talking to them like they're human. He's talking to them. This is the thing that I find to be really interesting. He is talking to these people the way Donald Trump talks to people. He communicates with them. He doesn't really cede ground to him. Joe Biden in these conversations, Joe Biden's giving this guy a hard time the whole time. He's talking about this Trump supporter who's sitting there. I mean, honestly, the Trump supporter was a little precocious in the way he was speaking to the president of the United States. He asks Joe Biden early on, like, do you even remember your name? I mean, that's pretty bold. That's like this is the type of stuff that you say in the privacy of your own home, in the privacy of some Twitter handle that isn't associated with you. But when the president of the United States is in front of you, I would not be saying these things. But this guy, he's unfazed. And he says to Joe Biden, do you even remember your name? And he says, I'm slow. And he's joking about it. Like you can tell that, I mean, the way Joe Biden is handling himself, his mannerisms the whole time, he's not like quick and snappy in his physical movements, but he hangs into this conversation with essentially a heckler. He's having a one-on-one conversation in front of a camera with a man in Pennsylvania who's wearing a Trump hat at a essentially sacred ground. Shanksville is a town that really nobody nationally should know about. Shanksville. Nobody would know about Shanksville, Pennsylvania, had Flight 93 not crashed into a wide open field. When my husband and I went there this July to see that memorial, we were shocked at how remote and small America town Shanksville was. Like in your mind, when you've heard about it, it's this place that is, you say Shanksville and people know what that means. This is a small town in Pennsylvania that is now unfortunately nationally known. Maybe, well, globally known. And Joe Biden's in there, and he's having this conversation, and I do not know why he put the hat on. Politically, he should not have put that hat on, but it was very humanizing of a man that has spent, what would you say, 2024, this last year, being raked over the coals for his faculties.
Yeah, the whole season.
We're not talking. We're not talking about how bad his policies are. His policies are still bad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But this year has been about Joe Biden's mental and physical decline.
Yeah, and that's kind of what sunk him in the debate, was he got up there and he just seemed, and everybody was talking about it before, but the debate was really when it was on full display. So yeah, it's kind of impressive to watch him. I mean, I watched this video and I see basically two old men sitting on a porch who've been lifelong friends.
Grouching at each other.
Grouching at one another.
He says there's always one in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
and I mean, like, that's relatable. That's understandable.
I liked the autograph. He's like, will you sign that for me? Sure, I'll sign it. It's like, you want me to sign yours? Hell no.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for as quick of a back and forth, a playful heckling back and forth that Joe Biden had there with this Trump supporter. And again, Pennsylvania. the election is going to run through Pennsylvania. Did Joe Biden know what he was doing when he put on that Trump hat? There's like a political rule. This is something that like political campaign managers and people who are in charge of the whole production of a campaign, you don't put on hats. You never put on a hat. That's like a rule. You never put on a hat. In fact, a lot of times they wear hats going out places so their head isn't empty for you to all of a sudden get some goofy hat put on you, which is then the image that is used in every political hit ad about everything in the world surrounding your campaign. You don't put on hats. He put the Donald Trump hat on top of the hat he was wearing. Does he have the mental presence to understand exactly what he was doing when he did that? And if he doesn't, why is he still the president of the United States? YouTube live chat poll for today. Does Joe Biden like Kamala Harris? Yes or no? Simple question. Donald Trump proposed in the debate that he hates her. Shaggy said, on the poll, I said no. She stabbed him in the back. And Betsy said no, in my opinion, but not sure what it has to do with anything, to be honest. It's just something else to talk about. Honestly, it's just something else to talk about. All right, let's take a quick break. Hans von Spakovsky on the Andy Fry Show when we come back. And Merrick Garland was giving this, like, breaking news presser. And all of a sudden, we thought something was going to happen, and then it didn't. What was Merrick Garland talking about, saying there's only one rule of law? Hans, the best person to talk about it when we come back.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
WindowWorldSTLewis.com. Have you visited the website yet for your replacement windows? If you have any questions or if you'd like a free in-home estimate, you can reach out to Window World at 314-993-1800, 314-993-1800, and ask them about getting that free in-home estimate done for you. Also, when you call Window World and start talking to them about a window replacement for you, mention the Annie Fry Show, you're going to get entered into a drawing for 4 St. Louis Blues tickets during the upcoming season from Window World by calling 314-993-1800 and talking to them about your windows and just saying, Annie Fry Show. Just let them know you heard about them here and you'll be entered to win. They are ranked number 1 in the number of windows sold in the country by Qualified Remodeler magazine. People trust these windows. You can trust Window World. Also, ask them about up to 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. WindowWorldSTLewis.com.
What's your favorite 4-letter word? Chances are you've said it more than a few times dealing with this crazy world we live in. But at Compass Retirement Solutions, our 4-letter word of choice is hope. Hope for a better tomorrow. And hope that your retirement plans don't take a back seat. You've watched inflation soar, and maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now. But all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your investments. Find out how you may be able to save big on taxes. And find out how having a written retirement plan just might give you the hope you've been looking for. Call today to set up a meeting. 314-373-1598. That's 314-373-1598. Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory firm in Missouri and Illinois. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Home values are sky high, and you have a ton of equity. Your financial advisor thinks the market is peaked. So if you're thinking about selling, it's time. Except for 2 things. High interest rates will burn you on a new home loan, and you're not ready to move. Savvy financial advisors suggest Truehold's new Sell and Stay program. It's ingenious because they buy your home now while its value is high, but you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Smart, right? TrueHold will make you a solid cash offer, not a lowball offer like the others. It's based on your home's current value. The cash is yours to travel, pay off bills, or secure your retirement. And again, you can stay in your home with a comfortable lease. TrueHold covers property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. See how much TrueHold will pay for your home today. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's value without moving. That's TrueHold.com.
Hey, St. Louis, are you in search of top-notch cybersecurity solutions? Look no further. ThrottleNet is here to help. Ransomware attacks are on the rise, putting businesses like yours at risk. Don't let cyber criminals jeopardize your hard-earned success. ThrottleNet provides comprehensive cybersecurity services tailored specifically to your unique needs. Our award-winning customer service provides 24/7 protection to keep your data safe and secure. Take charge of your digital security today. Protect your business, protect your future. ThrottleNet.com, your reliable partner in cybersecurity.
Don't miss Customer Appreciation Day at the Range this Saturday, September 14th from 9 to 5. Vendors will be available with their latest offerings, including Sig Sauer demonstrating their new target systems and all their latest firearms. You'll find the best deals of the year on firearms, accessories, classes, and memberships for the range. Free shooting lanes all day, games, the dunk tank to dunk the trainers, and free food will be available. We hope to see you at Customer Appreciation Day at the Range. Go to therangestl.com for all the details.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 55 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules. We know you've got an interesting take on things. You can tell us by clicking the microphone button next to Listen Live when you're on the Odyssey app. Record a short message for us to hear when you tune into 97.1 on the Odyssey app.
Remember the words you told me, love me till the day I die. Surrender my everything, 'cause you made me believe you're mine. Yeah, you used to call me baby, now you're calling me by name.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
This provision of the principles ends with an admonition, quote, federal prosecutors and agents may never make a decision regarding an investigation or prosecution for the purpose of affecting any election or the purpose of giving an advantage or disadvantage to any candidate or political party. In short, we must treat like cases alike. There is not one rule for friends and another for foes, one rule for the powerful and another for the powerless, one rule for the rich and another for the poor, one rule for Democrats and another for Republicans, or different rules depending on one's race or ethnicity. To the contrary, we have only one rule. We follow the facts and apply the law in a way that respects the Constitution and protects civil liberties.
We the people of the United States,
More perfect.
in order to form a more perfect union.
Heritage legal expert Hans von Spakovsky.
Well, it's good to have Hans today because I was going to ask this question, but I'll quote Russell on our live chat. What the heck was Merrick Garland talking about an hour ago? That news conference made no sense to me. Hans, welcome back to the show. When I heard him talking and he was talking about his longevity in the justice system, I thought maybe he was going to resign or something. But at the end, it seemed like it was just an admonishment for anybody who thinks that the DOJ is partisan.
Well, that's correct. And, you know, he also gave a talk in which he talked about the dangerous and outrageous attacks on Justice Department lawyers. But if the clip you just played, that is exactly the way the Justice Department should be run, on a non-political basis. But him claiming that's the way he's running it is a complete and total lie. I mean, just talking about one thing in particular, you know, him saying that, you know, we shouldn't make one decision based on whether a possible defendant is a Republican versus a defendant versus a Democrat. Well, okay. Well, then how do you explain the classified documents criminal prosecution against Donald Trump for supposedly mishandling classified documents at the very same time that he said, oh, there'll be no prosecution of Joe Biden once he becomes the former president for the mishandling of classified documents during the time that he was a U.S. senator and vice president, which went on for a lot longer. I'm sorry, but you just can't reconcile what actually happened in those two cases and what he just said in his speech.
Yeah. Completely agree. We're speaking with Hans von Spakovsky, former DOJ lawyer as well, senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation. I'm going to ask you a very simple question. You've kind of answered this already in the Trump context, but even in a broader sense, has the Merrick Garland Justice Department been politically nonpartisan? Have they exacted equal justice under the law?
No, and not at all. And I can give you another, even more recent example of this. Merrick Garland held this big press conference, and they've made a great deal about the fact that they just filed a criminal indictment against these two Russians who, as you know, set up, they disguised themselves as saying they were Belgian, and they set up a media company in Tennessee to do social media broadcasts that include some, pretty well-known conservative influencers. If you look at that indictment, part of what they have indicted these Russians for is violation of the FARA Act, right? The Foreign Agent Registration Act, which is the act that says that if you're representing a foreign government, you've got to you have to register with the U.S. Justice Department, right? Well, that's what Hunter Biden was doing. He was doing exactly that, representing foreign governments and foreign companies and lobbying his father. He fits squarely within the FARA Act. And you know what the Justice Department or Merrick Garland did? They never charged him, and in fact, allowed the statute of limitations to run so he can never be charged under the FARA Act.
So what is it that, I think that everybody should be able to agree that if you're serving in government, if you're an elected official, if you're a citizen, if you're a private citizen, you should be able to live your life without threat of attack from somebody else. Your physical person, you should feel safe and secure in this country. And, maybe that's what Merrick Garland was addressing, that there have been threats being made to people in the Department of Justice. We can all agree that that shouldn't happen. I'm looking at a president of the United States who had his ear almost shot off and his head almost blown off, and nobody seems to want to talk about that anymore. But yes, let's make sure that the people in the Justice Department feel safe and secure as well. What prompted Attorney General Merrick Garland to come out today and admonish anybody who is criticizing his work and the body of his department?
Well, because there has been so much well-deserved criticism. And look, I certainly agree with you. There shouldn't be physical attacks or physical assaults, but that's not what he was talking about. He was talking about all of the critiques about him and the fact that he has weaponized the department and it is engaging in political decisions, and so are his prosecutors when they are enforcing federal law. And that's what he is giving a speech against. He doesn't think they should be criticized because he claims they're not doing that. Well, I'm sorry, but the evidence is right there that, in fact, they are doing that. And it's not just in the political arena, but it's in all kinds of other areas. The way, for example, they have unfairly and unjustifiably attacked states for putting in things like voter ID laws, or the way they have abused the FACE Act, the act that says you can't commit violence at not only an abortion clinic, but churches and places like that. There have been almost 200 incidents at churches and other pregnancy centers, almost none of which have been prosecuted by DOJ at the same time that they've been going after peaceful protesters at abortion clinics. That's another example of the politics driving law enforcement at the Justice Department.
Yeah, and I think Americans see it. And it was an interesting admonishment, like we were talking about before, this afternoon, or I guess it's late this morning, at least our time, when they came out with that message. I want to circle back to the consequences of this election regarding what Merrick Garland had to say here before we wrap up. But you talked about voting rights, and I'm going to play for you a clip from Congressman Byron Donalds talking about the SAVE Act. I think I just saw on the news that the Speaker of the House has to push back the vote to attach this SAVE Act to the CR. There, people are talking government shutdown again. We are in government shutdown season. If you pay attention to the calendar, that's when we usually start talking about it. But here's Congressman Donalds talking about the SAVE Act.
And then piece number 2 is the SAVE Act. We should be doing everything within our power to make sure that the voting franchise of the American people is protected at all costs. That includes making sure illegals do not vote in our elections.
So Congressman Donald's talking about making sure illegal citizens, I should say, illegal immigrants don't vote in our elections. And the Democrats are pushing back and saying illegal immigrants already can't vote in our elections. Why would we need the SAVE Act? So I'll ask you that question, Hans. Why would we need the SAVE Act if it's already illegal for illegal immigrants to vote?
Well, according to that logic, which I actually label as illogic, aliens won't register and vote because it's a criminal violation of the law to do that. Well, I suppose that means all of our prisons must be empty across the country, right? Because people are deterred from committing any crimes because it's already illegal. No, we need the SAVE Act because of the fact that right now we have an honor system. You register to vote in any state, and do they check your ID? No. Do they check that you really live in the state? No. Do they check to see if you're really a U.S. citizen? No. And there's plenty of evidence, which the left wants to deny, that aliens are registering. They are voting. In Virginia, they just removed 6,300 aliens from the rolls. So the SAVE Act is needed so that states can require proof of citizenship when you register to vote. Right now, they're being stopped by the courts because every time a state actually tries to put in a law like this, the left sues them, the ACLU, the Garland Justice Department. They sue to stop states from requiring proof of citizenship when people register to vote. Well, why would they be doing that if they think there's not a problem? Obviously, citizens won't have a problem providing proof of citizenship. The reason they're fighting against this so much is because they know aliens are registering, they know they're voting, and they don't want them stopped or caught because they believe it will help them win elections. That's what's really going on here.
We're speaking with Hans von Spakovsky with the Heritage Foundation. Circling back to the question that I wanted to ask you before, it's a pretty broad question because when we look at what Merrick Garland is saying today about the complete and total nonpartisan, unbiased Department of Justice that he's in charge of, a lot of people are skeptical of that, of course. Right. In the event that Donald Trump wins in November and is inaugurated once again in January, we've heard Donald Trump talk about releasing the JFK files. We've heard about him talking about releasing other sorts of information to the American public. And I imagine that there is a great amount of work that is going to have to be done at the Department of Justice to restore it back to the American people and not the bureaucratic, consistent elitism that has come out there for I don't know how long, honestly. Can Donald Trump really, as the executive, effectively make the dramatic changes that need to be made with the strike of his pen? What does he need to be able to do that?
I will tell you that it's going to be very difficult for him to do that. And frankly, one of the key things for the Department of Justice is to not put in, during his first term, he put in all of these political appointees who didn't want to do anything that would upset the career ranks would have set the editorial pages of the Washington Post and the New York Times and might hurt their future legal careers, for example, with big law firms. I mean, that I'm sorry, but that was a problem. He needs tough-minded, fair, but tough-minded people who are going to go in and, frankly, fire some of the worst people like Jack Smith, the unlawful special counsel, stop the worst cases they have, like getting them to dismiss all the lawsuits they have filed against states who are trying to put in things like voter ID or proof of citizenship. And it'll be hard because all of the career lawyers, which is the vast majority of the Justice Department, will be doing everything they can to stop Donald Trump. And that's why, frankly, hopefully, there'll be a lot of terminations of many of the lawyers at the Justice Department.
So he, as the executive, puts in an attorney general, and the attorney general starts purging the Department of Justice from the people who are not serving the American people? Essentially, that's how that goes?
Yes, that is exactly right. And there'll be howls of protest from the public unions, from MSNBC and others. Boo-hoo. And you need people who don't care that they're being castigated by the New York Times, but will go through and continue those kinds of actions.
Well, I believe Donald Trump has the guts to do it, and I hope that he has the wisdom to pick the people who can make that happen. Hans, thank you for being with us. Lots of news today. You were just the right person for the job, so we appreciate your time this afternoon.
Sure, thanks for having me.
You bet. We'll talk to you again soon. Hans von Spakovsky, the Senior Legal Fellow at Heritage Foundation, with us today. His book is Our Broken Elections. I encourage you to check that out, especially leading into this election. You can understand how the left changed the way you vote. That book by Hans von Spakovsky. Quick break. When we come back, no Ryan Wiggins. He's taking a break for today and tomorrow. He's on a mini vacation, so we're going to fill his time. I don't know if we can fill it quite the way he does, but we're going to do our best. Go vote on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. Does Joe Biden like Kamala Harris? Yes or no? What do you think? Do you think that they're buddy-buddy, vice president, still partners? How's he feel about it? Let's see. Russell said, I said yes. I think Joe likes Kamala, but the better question is, does he think she should be president? No. Let us know what you think. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
So who you been calling, baby? Nobody could take my place. When you looking at those strangers, hope to God you see my face.
Stewart's American Mortgage. I've refied twice with Stewie to make sure I secured a lower rate each time. Glad I did, because I got a great rate right now, and it's because of Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage. I trust him. You can too. You can reach out to him at 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. You can Google the Bagel Loan for more information. When you use the Bagel Loan with Stewart's American Mortgage, you pay $0 in closing costs. That's a lot of money back in your pocket. And right now, through tomorrow, I think, is when this is going to end. The Fed's Fund Special that he has told me about, that he wants you to know about, they are likely going to lower rates. The Fed will probably lower rates maybe at the end of next week. And if that happens, mortgage rates will probably come down. He's giving you a jump on this, which means you can lock in lower rates right now, only with Stewart's American Mortgage. And if the Fed doesn't lower rates, you still got the benefit of Stewie banking on that they will. Reach out to Stewie right now, 314-324-4440, and lock in that lower rate. This is only good through tomorrow, so you got to contact him now. Talk to him about that Fed's Fund Special that Annie was discussing and get the process started. You'll be glad you did. Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS number 226715.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for New Perspective Senior Living in Weldon Spring. This brand new facility offers state-of-the-art independent or assisted living and memory care. New Perspective Weldon Spring is redefining senior living. Visit npseniorliving.com to schedule a tour today.
Do you have $10,000, $20,000, or $30,000 in debt? Then listen to this. You may not be required to pay it all back.
I was drowning in debt.
debt?
I had over $36,000 in debt.
If I would have just made the minimum payments, it would have taken me 59 years to pay off.
Whether it's credit card, medical, or personal loan debt, National Debt Relief can help significantly reduce what you owe. In fact, debt relief payments can be 50% less than your monthly credit card payments. That's right, half as much as you're paying now.
National Debt Relief reduced my debt by over $27,000.
With National Debt Relief, you have a powerful team that knows how to talk to your creditors.
National Debt Relief, they got me out of debt.
More than 550,000 Americans have used National Debt Relief to reduce their debt. Call 800-649-6464 to see if you qualify to settle your debt for a fraction of what you owe. 800-649-6464. That's 800-649-6464.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
No pain, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
You know Diamonds Direct for their exquisite diamonds and fine jewelry. What about luxury watches? With a hand-picked collection by the industry's top timepiece experts, skip the waiting list and get the timepiece you've been eyeing right away. And this month only, enjoy 0% interest for 5 years on all the top brands. Imagine owning a $15,000 luxury watch for just $250 a month. Spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest on approved credit. Diamonds Direct, where you can shop direct for diamonds and watches.
Today's YouTube live chat poll, does Joe Biden like Kamala Harris? Yes or no? Donald Trump says no way, but we want to know what you think. Jump on Annie's YouTube page and vote in the poll, and then leave us a comment and tell us why you voted the way you voted. The time is 12:46. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra will be at Enterprise Center December 18th. Tickets go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m., but you can win tickets by listening to the Mark Cox Morning Show. Just listen for us to tell you when to call. This is The Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
Guess who's back again? Oh, they don't know. Oh, they don't know. I bet they know as soon as we walk in. I'm wearing Cuban links, designer mix, Inglewood's finest shoes. Don't look too hard, might hurt yourself. Known to get the color red, the blue.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Happy to be with you this afternoon. The YouTube live chat poll: does Joe Biden like Kamala Harris? Yes or no? Somebody commented, "I don't know why this matters." It doesn't matter, but now, I mean, I'm flattered that maybe this is like below par, but or above par. Which would be better? You'd rather be below par. It really depends on if you look at the number. Is like there's par in the middle. If it's a par 5, is 4 is below par.
Yes.
So it's better to be below par.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Golf is one of those sports.
Well, I know that, but it's just from a number standpoint.
Yes.
But I don't know from a communication standpoint. Because if I said, "Oh, I hit below par," I don't think that you would want to hit below par.
Or you wouldn't, like when you hear somebody say, "I hit below," you were like, "Uh-oh, that's not good."
I don't think that that's good. This
Let's use a
sounds just
different
like
phrase.
Wiggins America. No, I kind of want to know how to talk. I know how to say it. My son is playing golf for the first. He's on the golf team in high school, and he's never played before. And he's learning lots of things, which I think he's an athlete. He plays baseball, he plays basketball, he plays volleyball. He's an athlete, but I think one of the most effective things you can do in high school as far as sports goes, if you are in a position to be able to try new things, is to play golf. That's the one thing you're going to take out of high school that you're going to be able to use until you can't physically function anymore. Not a lot of pickup football games for 40-year-olds out there, but there's a lot of golf and there's a lot of money to be made on the golf course. So I think it's a good business decision. I want to talk about conversations around the election. I see people, I get pitched ideas for the show on a regular basis. Oh, here's a guest you should have on the show. They'd be great. And every PR firm thinks that their guest would be great on the show. So if I don't usually put people on if I don't know them ahead of time, if I don't have a good jump on what that conversation, like how to guide that conversation in a positive way. But there is a lot of discussion. I get a lot of pitches from psychologists. It's like how to handle an emotional election season. And I'm like, you just vote for the person who's going to make America great again. And then you feel better about it. It's not as simple for everybody, of course. But on Fox News, there is an opinion piece by Dr. Kent Ingle. And it says 3 essential rules to encourage unity this election season. And, I think that even that as a proposition to American voters, like unity on what? Because there is a political party that stumps on unity all the time, but they want you to unite in their division, which sounds counterintuitive because it is, but it's also politically lucrative, so they still do it. When you try to divide people into the goods and the bads, and you try to do it on the most basic, obvious levels possible, if you can successfully divide those people, then you can start to acquire those people. And that's really what happens in identity politics. If I see you and your skin is a certain color, I immediately know something about you, which is the opposite of progress. But here we are. I'm supposed to see you, and I'm supposed to know what you think about issues by issue by issue by issue. If you are of a certain age, if your skin is a certain color, if you're a certain gender, as if I'm allowed to even assume that you are of a certain gender, then I should know things about you. That is how in politics, the reason why, a lot of people are like, I don't know why we have to be talking about all of this stuff all the time. And the answer is because it's how people win elections. It's really that simple. It's gross. It's grimy, but it's real. You divide people, and then you figure out how to acquire each of the groups that you divide. And then if you can collectively acquire each of those groups surrounding the one that everybody collectively can point at and say, baddies, point at them and make sure that everybody understands who is the collective villain here. Then you can unite all of your differences, all of the people who have been chopped up in different groups. You unite those people around who the baddie is. And that's Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the one who's been standing in the middle. And if you're black, you're supposed to, I don't know. Let me just quote Joe Biden. If you don't vote for me, you ain't black. As if, Joe Biden, the most powerful white man in the world, hands out and retracts black cards from people. I feel gross even saying that right now, but hey, I'm not the one who originally said it. If you're female, you should only vote with your reproductive rights, which is abortion. If you are somebody who is highly educated, then there's no way that you could think of something very differently. If you're very rich, you should vote a certain way. If you're very poor, you should vote a certain way. If you're the middle class, you're the one in the middle being tugged on, people paying attention to, because the middle class is the biggest group of them all. If you're this religion, you should vote this way. If you're that religion, you should vote this way. It's kind of interesting to watch the Democrats right now try to pull in the Jewish contingent of their Democrat support with the pro-Hamas part. They're still trying. They are resilient people. This doctor is talking about 3 essential rules to encourage unity this election season. And the first one is learn to have a conversation. Brad, so many people don't understand how to have a conversation. It's like preachy all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I was playing video games last night with some friends, and we were having a conversation, and it wasn't really a conversation. I said something, and basically the response ended up being the equivalent of, I'm putting my fingers in my ears, la, 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 I don't care what you have to say. And it's like, just stop and listen for a second and hear. And then I'll listen to what you have to say, and then we'll call that a conversation.
Yeah. You're not asking them to agree. You're asking them to hear you.
Right.
The second one is treat others with respect. And I think that this goes hand in hand. Like if you first and foremost aren't willing to listen, then you are not respecting that person because you're saying you're not worth listening to.
Right. And that's super disrespectful. Again, that conversation that I had last night, or that interaction that I had last night, calling it a conversation. It wasn't. That interaction I had last night, it was incredibly disrespectful for somebody to act that way and to talk over me. But also, if you're the one being disrespected, then you also have to maintain a calm head and not blow up and escalate it into something more than what it should be.
Yeah. I think especially in our super politically divisive times that if you are the Trump supporter that is approached by a Democrat, Biden, Harris, whatever supporter, and you treat them with respect, you might be the first person who did, because I know a lot of Trump supporters who want to smack people around and be like, "How are you stupid?" And then, you go into your pro-Trump stuff, and that's not helpful. If you're somebody who's on the right and you're like, "Yeah, you know what? I just really think that on the economy, Kamala Harris doesn't seem to have a grasp on what is going to be good for this country, and I think she's going to do more of the Joe Biden thing, and it just doesn't seem to go well, and I think Donald Trump's the guy on the economy, and that's why I'm voting for him." And if they push back on how can you vote for this, how can you vote for that, I mean, you can listen to these people who are saying this, and you can be respectful to those people, and you can at the end go, "Yeah, I just see it differently. I just disagree, but I respect your right to disagree as well." Most people who are interested in having those conversations are pretty combative on both sides of the aisle, equally on both sides of the aisle. They're not prepared to have a conversation that is polite and respectful.
No. And it seems like that's the default setting for people on politics or even in Twitter. And I know you've experienced this. You'll say something.
I don't fight on Twitter.
And the immediate response from people, even people that are on the same side of the aisle as you, is not to hear what you say, but to assume that you're being aggressive.
Yeah. If I said something critical of, who was it just recently? Oh, Fox News in the stupid non-town hall. And people are like, Donald Trump's been everywhere. He's been doing. I'm like, I'm a Trump supporter. Just wanted to hear more from town hall. The third one on encouraging unity is focus on building relationships. If you do the first two, you're going to do the third. And the best thing you can do is have people understand you as a human, as an individual, that respect you as your right to have your own perspective, and to focus on that relationship that becomes more important than the political persuasion of the other person. It's a really effective way to actually make your point when you care more about people than politics. Tyrus, when we come back, don't go away.
More good news for Frederick Roofing, voted best roofing company by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
314-645-2000.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated, forlorn even, like your efforts are futile. And you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine. Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all of that. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, you can forget your frustrations because we find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Fantastic.
So, whether you need to hire 4, 40, or 400 people, get ready to meet first-rate talent. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Don't forget, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Finally, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hi, this is Steve Butts with the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. I know we're all experiencing sticker shock when you get your insurance premium. Now more than ever, you need an independent insurance agent to find the best value for your family's insurance needs. Crawford Butts, family owned and operated for more than 60 years. Please give us a call at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A change at the top. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Vice President Kamala Harris taking the overall lead in the Fox News power rankings for the first time as former President Trump loses his edge in two battlegrounds, Georgia and North Carolina, where Harris holds two rallies today.
Campaign officials think that they've got a lot of momentum after the debate in Philadelphia against Donald Trump, and they are trying to keep it going with a new ad that features debate clips.
Fox's Peter Ducey in Charlotte.
This is the state, North Carolina, that Donald Trump won twice, and it was once again trending away from the Democrats when Joe Biden was the nominee, but it is now one of 7 states the Harris team thinks is part of their key to 270 electoral votes.
The power rankings project 341 electoral college votes for Harris and 219 for Trump, with 6 toss-up states accounting for another 78 votes up for grabs. The former president rallies later today in Arizona. Members of Congress getting closed-door briefings from the acting Secret Service director today on the probe of security failures in the Trump assassination attempt. Some public pushback from Attorney General Merrick Garland defending the Justice Department from claims of weaponization.
Attorney General Garland chose the closing of the annual U.S. Attorneys Conference to credit them for the job they do, and also
this workforce's ironclad commitment to the principles of fairness and impartiality that have long guided it.
Garland, in the face of some partisan criticism of the DOJ being weaponized and a target of conspiracy theories, said he stands by norms to avoid any scenario
where law enforcement is treated as an apparatus of politics.
Garland said that's the kind of independent law enforcement agency that American democracy relies on.
Fox's Gernal Scott, former movie producer Harvey Weinstein, indicted on more sex crime charges in New York ahead of a retrial set for November. For now, he's recovering from heart surgery. America's listening to Fox News.
Seems like there's more identity theft in the news every day.
Another major healthcare breach was reported today, resulting in the exposure. Now, 1 in 4 consumers have been a victim of identity.
That's because there are endless places that could accidentally expose you to identity theft, in a breach, or simply by mistake. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrades? Done well. Electrical upgrade? Done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well. Hire high-quality, certified pros at Angie.com.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Kind of a warm evening around town. Temperatures in the 80s this evening. Partly cloudy skies. 66 should do it for the low. On Thursday, more and more clouds take over. So more clouds and sun. Certainly the afternoon will be cloudy. 86. Thursday night, developing showers. Possible thunderstorms mainly after midnight. 65. Friday, periods of tropical showers and possible thunderstorms. 74. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Attention Missouri Medicaid members. If you need assistance with daily living, you can receive a free service from Freedom Care in your own home from a loved one. With Freedom Care, you decide who provides your daily care with help preparing meals, bathing, laundry, transportation, and more. A family member or friend that gets paid instantly after every shift. It's all funded by Medicaid and 100% free to you. Call now to check your eligibility. New to Medicaid, the Freedom Care family will guide you through enrollment, making it stress-free for patients and caregivers. caregivers. With over 5,000 five-star Google reviews, we've perfected at-home care for Medicaid members and caregivers. This service is free to you through Medicaid, and with our InstaPay app, caregivers are paid instantly. So go to freedomcare.com or call 314-557-7915. 314-557-7915. 314-557-7915.
Freedom Care, we're here for you.
Mark Cox here. Did you know the Rockwood School District is a great place to work? They're currently hiring school bus drivers, cafeteria workers, and custodial staff. They have openings in Adventure Club, which is before and after school care. They offer competitive pay, flexible work hours, and a rewarding work environment. Discover the Rockwood Advantage and join an amazing team. Go to rsdmo.org/jobs. That's rsdmo.org/jobs.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
Wednesday, September 25th, join the Annie Fry Show in St. Charles as we support Princess Storm's annual diaper drive. You can buy diapers at Ruler Foods to donate right there on the spot, or bring your own. Come say hi. Wednesday, September 25th.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us, that's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Well, you know, when you don't win, it's like a fighter. When a fighter has a bad fight, gets knocked out, or loses the fight, the first thing he says is, "We want a rematch." So we won the debate according to every poll, every single poll. I think that are we going to do a rematch? I just don't know, but we'll think about it.
So Donald Trump saying that the Kamala Harris desire for another debate is because she's conceding a loss. I don't really know what to make of that. I absolutely would love to see a second debate. I absolutely want to see the second debate happen on Fox News. I said this yesterday. I don't think we ever pulled the clip of it because I never mentioned it outside of the show, but on Fox and Friends in the morning, Donald Trump was talking to them, and he's like, I'd really like to do a debate on Fox News, but I don't want it to be with Brett Baer and Martha McCallum. Brad, I really think he was saying that so that he can get a debate on Fox News with Brett Baer and Martha McCallum. Is that crazy?
No, that's not crazy. That guy does stuff like that all the time. That's a negotiating tactic. Yeah.
Say something that you absolutely don't want.
Right.
And then when you get the thing that you want, which is a Fox debate, and the other side feels like, well, we'll do it, but only if Brett and Martha do it. You're like, okay.
You have to combine that with like, I really want to do another debate attitude. But man, I just won't do it if it's those two. I just won't do it. And if they don't want to do another debate, but they want to look like they want to do another debate, then they'll be like, hey, we'll do it, but it has to be Brett Baer and Martha McCallum.
I would love it. They're so. They would be so fair.
They would be incredibly good. You know, another debate moderator would be that I'd like to see is maybe some people that are internet personalities rather than mainstream media people. So like a Megyn Kelly moderating.
That
a
would
debate.
never happen.
No, because there's no support for it because there's not the money there to make it happen.
No, not because of that. There's no way in heck that Kamala Harris would ever agree to sit in front of Megyn Kelly. There's no way. She's an absolute total partisan for Republican Trump. If I would never tell Kamala Harris to agree to that. You could put Bill Maher on there. Bill Maher is disenchanted with the Democrat Party, thinks Donald Trump is an arrogant butthead, and if he doesn't like any of them, maybe then he's a fair person, along with maybe another podcast host or media personality that isn't in the mainstream media that doesn't necessarily have a preference. But, Megyn Kelly is a complete partisan. Elon Musk, obviously, and he's the worst interviewer ever.
Oh, yeah.
He has X. He owns X. If he does a space, which is what you call the audio live, it's so funny. It's like all these people are like, this is so awesome. They're live. They're talking right now, and we can hear them talking. It's radio. That's what we're doing right now. Tune into the radio. Turn the record player on at night. Even a record player isn't live, according to Joe Biden, whatever that was. When you have somebody on a panel in front of these candidates, the candidates are going to, the reason why Kamala Harris won't go in front of Fox is because she thinks all of Fox is in the tank for Trump. If Brett Baer and Martha McCallum aren't nonpartisan enough, there's no way Megyn Kelly's going to be there. There's no way that, I'm thinking about all of these major podcast hosts that have had Donald Trump on. They would all love to have Kamala Harris. Think about being one of these big podcasters and landing the other interview that Kamala Harris did. That'd be huge.
Yeah. Man, I'll tell you what's wild, too, though. You look at this, and there are influencers that are coming out talking about how the Harris campaign is reaching out to them to get them to endorse her or to interact with her or make videos for her. And they'll either say that they want to give me this much money, here's the NDA, all this other stuff. But they're not reaching out to people like Joe Rogan, people that do long-form podcasters.
If I were Kamala Harris, I wouldn't want Joe Rogan either.
Well, I'm not even saying specifically Joe Rogan, but somebody that does a long-form podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Even like a Pod Save America, she won't even go on that, and that would be very friendly to her.
That's home turf. Lex Friedman is the one that Trump went on recently.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Lex Friedman. He's a big deal.
Yeah.
Not to me, but that probably makes him more culturally relevant that I don't know who he is. Do you know much about him?
I don't. I've never watched any of them.
Well, to me, it's like if he's an American computer scientist and podcaster. Since 2018, he has hosted his podcast. He interviews notable figures from various fields. He's 41 years old, and he's got 4.16 million subscribers. He's making an imprint on people. People do listen to him. I would really love to see a debate in 2024 that stepped outside of the framework of the established media system. The established media system, of which talk radio, a lot of people would say, where does talk radio fit into this? Talk radio is definitely considered to be a medium for older people. But I'm telling you this right now, specifically in the world of radio. People kind of talk about radio as a whole as being an aging or a dying industry. It makes my heart sad. I also don't agree with it, especially in the talk format. Sports, news, all of the things that have minute-by-minute updates. That's the case with sports and news alike. Music is a little bit different, but there's a lot of innovation that is being done with the music radio industry as well. But specifically with talk radio, the actual interest level in podcasting that takes place in the idea of spoken word, we podcast 3 hours a day, every day, but we do it live. Whereas if you're sitting down to do a podcast, you can edit that together, you can polish it, you can have conversations. You're like, you know what, let's leave that out, which there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely, by all means, support that as an industry. I'm just saying that talk radio right now is a place where you get up to the minute updates on the subject matter of interest to you, and news and sports specifically is where that fits the best. In podcasting, I think podcasting and radio kind of go hand in hand. They aren't direct competitors. Radio people podcast, and a lot of podcasters are on the radio or would love to be on the radio. And I think that it's a place where you can take the importance of news coverage that is traditionally, in this instance, only managed by the TV networks because they have the system in place to produce it. There should be some sort of partnership where another platform that can create a visual production should bring in people who are not traditionally part of that system. It would be different. I think it would be very interesting. I saw, what's Two Young Turks? Sank, is that his name?
Chink.
Chank? You say it, Chank?
Chank,
I never
yeah.
said it out loud. He said, disagree with the Democrats on anything one time and you're a pariah forever. Agree with MAGA on 2% of the platform and they welcome you with open arms. That's a wild statement to me coming from him. I mean, he's somebody who I've seen be on the far left progressive side of politics who has incredibly emotionally been disgusted with where the right is in our country. And even folks like him are going, you know, when I dip my toe into this right side, they're not as awful, as god-awful as they've been made out to be. I don't, Kamala Harris didn't say MAGA once in the debate, I don't think.
No.
I don't think that she said it either in her one interview. But I mean, when Joe Biden was still the nominee, and I mean, I don't know, he's not really doing anything other than wearing Trump hats in Shanksville, Pennsylvania these days. But I heard many, many, many times from Joe Biden, his pressure, his point that he wanted to bring home every single time was the ultra MAGA point. He wanted to talk about the MAGA Republicans, the ultra MAGA Republicans over and over and over again. It was important for him to remind people that the MAGA contingent is a scary contingent. And the more, we were talking about ways to unite the country at 1245, these 3 rules to encourage unity this election season. Can you have unity and still disagree on the substance of what you're talking about? Can you be in a position where you disagree and you prioritize something over the political persuasion of the person that you're talking with? And, especially when it comes to media, like we're talking about these non-traditional news coverage people, when you think of The View, and you know that it's called The View, you're supposed to be able to look at things and listen to conversation and kind of dissect it. They should be representative of America. They don't have anybody who represents me. I presume if you're along the lines of thinking that I am, you don't watch The View and be like, oh, that's my girl. She really brought it home. That's not what happens. It's a very politically activist production, and they filter people through who are there to do the same thing. Like there's a political operation to it. Joy Behar, in my opinion, by far the worst of them. Whoopi Goldberg is like 80-20 offensive to me when it comes to politics, but every once in a while she sticks up for somebody or something, and I can just feel like Whoopi is much more her own person than like completely surrendered to the system and the anger and the hatred that I see from Joy Behar without fail. Usher, of all people, Usher, on the View, sitting immediately to the left of Joy Behar, was asked this.
That in this emergency that we're in, I think that behooves artists to come out and speak for Kamala against Donald Trump, because he is an existential threat to the country. What do you say to that?
You know what? I don't get too deep into politics. I didn't get a chance to watch the debate last night. I obviously have been watching like everybody else. I think voting is an individual choice. And I think that you're right. You have to look at the reality of the country that we are and the country that we want to be, and find the candidate that you feel both who fits the category of where we want to be. And that's it. And that's what you vote based off of. Who you highlight and how you choose to highlight it on whatever platform you have is your prerogative.
Yes.
Yeah. And then he just nods his head and and that's all I got to say about that. And, Joy Behar was kind of nodding yes. I almost felt like she was claiming affirmation of her point. Usher, listen, for the past, what are we now in, 8 years of Donald Trump being on the political scene, probably more like 9, of knowing Donald Trump as a politician, the one cardinal sin to the people in Hollywood and in celebrity sphere of Donald Trump. He was a huge, huge deal until he became a known Republican. And then it was the unforgivable sin. It was something you did to tell people, to make sure that they understood. You had to, every once in a while, remind people, yeah, I'm totally not for Donald Trump. Not that guy. Oh, my gosh. Ugh, not at all. Who's the other person? That's who I'm for. You were supposed to be on record. You have to, check the box. It's like renewing your driver's license. You have to make sure you do it on time. Otherwise, you pay a big fee. When Joy Behar asks Usher, in a way that's it is more important now than it has ever been because Trump is an existential threat that we endorse Kamala Harris. What do you say to that? He said, no. He said, not doing it. I think that you should study and figure out what's important to you and vote accordingly. What a rebuke of the Joy Behar mean girl peer pressure when Usher's sitting right there to put him on the spot and ask him that question. And what a great answer by Usher. That is as American as it gets. He very well could be voting for Kamala Harris. I have no idea. I also don't need to know. I'm pretty sure that Usher and I, outside of our physical safety and security that exists as people in the country, I'm sure his security is a little more tight than mine. We probably don't have a whole lot of parallels in our economic concerns. Our tax brackets probably a little different. His concerns and my concerns aren't going to be the same, but we both want a strong America, and that means something to me, and that means something to him, and that might mean different decisions that we make at the ballot box. But Usher basically said to Joy Behar, it's none of your gosh darn business, and I don't need to be out here telling other people what's important in their lives. They should do their own homework. Well done, Usher. Very proud. All right, let's take a quick break. Tammy Bruce is going to be with us when we come back. She's a Fox News contributor. She's a best-selling author. Her latest book, Fear Itself. What did Tammy Bruce think of the debate, and what kind of encouragement does she have for us moving forward? Tammy Bruce on The Annie Fry Show, next.
Everybody wants to be closer to
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Ruler Foods understands that your grocery bill, one of the most frequent bills that you're probably paying, filling up that grocery cart is tougher these days than it has been in a while. And Ruler Foods is there to alleviate some of that pain for you. They certainly have for my family. When you go shop at Ruler Foods to buy your groceries, your household items, your detergents, your, boxed noodles, man, do we have boxed Kroger noodles in our house coming out the wazoo. We shop at Ruler Foods because they carry Kroger brands at Ruler Foods prices. And they also have great deals on very fresh, healthy produce that we put out for our kids. They know that if it's a fruit or a vegetable, they can eat it at any time. They don't have to ask. Red or white seedless grapes, $1.47 a pound. 6 ounces of raspberries or blueberries or a pint of blueberries, $1.97 a pound. You can also save on 8 ounces of Kroger shredded or bar cheese, 2 for $4. And those Jack's pizzas, 2 for $7. We've got a few of those in our freezer right now. Save when you shop at Ruler Foods. You can schedule delivery as well. Find your Ruler Foods online at rulerfoods.com.
At Odyssey, we believe in casting a wide net to create a diverse and inclusive workforce, as we value the power of community and encourage local organizations to help us in referring qualified applicants to our stations. If you're a community organization interested in receiving our vacancy information, simply email equalemployment@odyssey.com. You'll be directly notified of our open positions. Again, that's equalemployment@odyssey.com. And for our listeners, we invite you to visit odysseyinc.com/careers. There, you'll find an online listing of job openings at all Odyssey radio stations.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first time Nana moments.
Yeah, welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
You might wonder, John Legend, how do you keep your voice sounding so legendary? Honey. And how do I keep my protection against COVID-19 up to date? With a COVID shot this season, designed for recent variants.
You can get your COVID-19 shot when getting your flu shot if you're due for both, as recommended by the CDC.
The fresher, the better.
Ask your healthcare provider about getting this season's COVID-19 shot when getting your flu shot.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-699-1059. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-699-1059. That's 800-699-1059. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Gain peace of mind that your flooring and carpet installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's Flooring Outlet. They give all their clients attentive personal service, even bring toys for the kids of the household. It's a family-owned and operated business for 25 plus years. They make sure you make the right choice for your home. So if you have carpets or hard floors, you're going to be happy for years to come. 3 convenient locations in St. Charles County, 116 Main Street, in Old Town St. Peters at Mid-Rivers and Highway 70, in West County on Olive, and the store in Darden Prairie. Michael's Flooring Outlet, IGotFloor.com.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. 9 out of 10 homes are under-insulated. Is yours? Did you know that there's an R value associated with insulation? To find out your R value or for free insulation estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Congresswoman Ann Wagner.
The SAVE Act basically says that only American citizens should be able to vote in our elections. Pretty basic, right? You think that's common sense.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
She don't care about my car.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
And she don't care.
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
And that's real good, cause I don't got a lot to spend. But if I did, it wouldn't mean nothing. She likes me for me.
For this election, would you say your mind is made up?
Yes.
And that is?
Trump.
Okay. Are you a previous Trump supporter?
The first year he won in 2016, I was not.
Did you vote for Hillary?
I did vote for Hillary, but I
Okay.
cried when she did not win.
Okay. Then what happened?
And then I just felt like he did a good job. I liked the fact that he was not a politician.
You believe you were better off 4 years ago.
So Major Garrett interviewing people, all the diner interviews, the diners across America being infiltrated by reporters during election season. That's how you know we're getting close. You've got a Hillary supporter who cried when she lost, now voting for Donald Trump. What is changing with the voters in America, and how do these debates affect people like that Michigan voter right there? Let's talk to our friend Tammy Bruce, back with us, Fox News contributor, AMAC columnist, and best-selling author. Her latest book, Fear Itself. Tammy, welcome back to the show. It's been a busy week. We're glad you're here.
Well, my pleasure. Yeah, I love it, and thanks for asking me back.
Of course. You know, I want to ask you about the real sentiment that there are people who are supporting Donald Trump now that maybe themselves would think that would be inexplicable 4 years ago, 8 years ago. Is there a real movement towards supporting Donald Trump for president in 2024 the way there hasn't maybe been?
Yes, and it's because the Democrats have turned all of us into the Flintstones, right? We're living in the Stone Age. It is a dumpster fire. People have, and it's understandable, we live in the greatest country on earth. But when things are good, there's this presumption that it's a natural state, that it just happens because that's life. But in fact, and this has been a very important lesson, is that moving from Obama to Trump, we saw that an individual can make a difference and be an active individual. Remember when Trump, during the campaign against Hillary, and we had the Carrier air conditioning company was going to move to Mexico or somewhere else. And Trump said, I'm going to make them stay here. We're going to keep those jobs. And Obama goes there because he was obviously still the president. And he said, how's he going to do that? Is he going to does he have a magic wand? Obama was genuinely perplexed about how you could make a company stay in America. And of course, you do that by dealing with regulations and incentives to stay and tariffs if you leave. I mean, you use that hand. And Obama, because it doesn't occur to them, because they're never fighting for American business or the American people. So you don't what you're thinking about is how many more regulations can I write? How many more executive orders can I pass? That's where their mind is. So I think what the American people saw was a dramatic thing in 2016 and obviously 17 was that Trump delivered, that he was talking about the issues specifically, the wall, the economy, right, crime, immigration, the same situations that had been foisted upon us. And he made a difference even though they were constantly attacking him. I would say he had maybe 2 productive years in the midst of all of the attacks and the impeachments and all the garbage. And then we go from Trump to Biden. And once again, seeing on a dime how everything can change, that the message has been that the president matters, that policy matters. Americans now know to ask, as some of these focus group people did, when they wanted to hear more details from Kamala Harris during the debate, was in one woman, and it's on my Twitter feed and it's kind of all over social media, was saying, what is an opportunity economy? Like, what is that? And we don't know what it is. And they were mad. It's almost like, you're like Charlie Brown and Kamala's Lucy with the freaking football.
Yes.
And you know she's going to pull it away. That is all a trick. So I think that the movement is the awareness that this has not gone well, that we deserve better, that they try to tell Americans that this is normal. It's not. That we deserve better, and that Donald Trump delivered it before and he'll deliver it again.
I think that's spot on. Tammy Bruce with us right now. I tweeted this out earlier too, but I think that people saying that Donald Trump getting agitated and mad is bad forget that Americans are agitated and mad, and it's their actual lived existence right now that they're pretty ticked off about. But I also think that having been lied to for so long, I think it's kind of personal to voters right now.
Yeah. And, Trump has put out a statement about that on Truth Social saying, why wouldn't I be mad? I love this country. And that's where we're all at. So it's like this, DC cocktail class, chatting amongst themselves if he doesn't have any self-control. Well, who do you want? You want somebody who pretends to be some Harvard intellectual when we need the grocery prices and the inflation and everything else to come down? Who do you want when dealing with the Taliban, which now is back, and ISIS, which is now back again, of course, and Iran and Hamas and Hezbollah? Do you want some soy boy, or do you want a man that they're all afraid of? We've learned that. Iran learned that. The Taliban learned that. And we need that person back. And this is just all of that crap after the debate. And I hope I kept my Twitter followers informed to just be careful, because all of that is aimed at the people who weren't watching, and to frame the people who left thinking, boy, that was a waste of time, and boy, I like Trump better, was to try to gaslight you into believing that you don't know what happened, this really sucked, and Donald Trump was destroyed, and none of that was true. And we're seeing that certainly during the current tracking during the debate itself by Lee Carter, the focus groups. You got the Major Garrett exchange with people in the diners. And when he told his panel on CBS, when he was on the panel that morning, there was a gasp when he said there was no undecideds in the 20 anymore. They were all for Trump. It was like, oh.
Isn't the gasp funny to watch from our perspective? It's like it's so shocking to me that it's still so shocking to you that people aren't okay with the way things are going in this country right now.
Exactly.
Why are you sitting on a panel behind a desk in front of a camera and being shocked about this right now? You haven't been doing your job.
And also about the critique of his debate performance. It was classic Trump. Trump talks without notes. He talks extemporaneously. He goes off on branches. I do that quite often. I think you do that a little bit. You talk for a living. You get all kinds of ideas in your head. But that is what we recognize as the transparency and the naturalness of Donald Trump, and has been one of his greatest assets. And yet they're still bitching about the fact that, oh my God, he just kept talking, and it was not refined and not packaged properly, and it's like, shut up. You see, but Paris, on the other hand, was a perfect example of this fraud of the establishment, of the swamp itself. It wasn't word salads. It was a much more formally packaged series of words that fit better together, that were rehearsed, but still amazingly said nothing. There was still, if you walk away with what Kamala Harris said, and this will, as the debates are always looked back on, people will not remember a damn thing she said. And certainly she didn't explain the opportunity economy and what that means. Nobody knows. At least she didn't bring up the coconut tree. So at least we have that.
The unburdened coconut
tree. People will remember, it's like Trump's closing statement. I think that's got now millions of views on TikTok, is the main kind of winning reminder for people. If she has all these great ideas, right, whatever they are, why hasn't she done them yet? Why did she not do it in the last 3.5 years? Imperative to remind people that she didn't just get dropped in here from Mars and has no experience in the federal government. This is her dumpster fire. And that closing statement has really had an impact. And it's what people remember. And that is what, remember, Trump lost all the debates to Hillary. Right. Don't ever forget that, Annie.
Right.
And so people, I think it's about staying steady, recognizing that, but also to not get so comfortable. We already have, Fox moved Georgia and North Carolina to toss-up from lean Republican. So this remains an on-the-ground organizing game in the swing states. And this comes down to really getting people registered. Scott Pressler, who's working with the RNC, is getting tons of people registered in Pennsylvania. It's about getting out the vote. It's about making sure so that in case if you plan on voting on election day, and then let's say something happens and you can't. Oh my God, that's like the last chance. Vote as early as you can.
Yes.
Bank that vote and then activate yourself with your community, because in all honesty, I think everyone realizes if we capitulate and Harris wins, they will take it as a sign that they can do whatever they want again, and they will. And the Republican Party, as we know it, will, the old guard, they won't know. And they, once again, punishment for us, will do nothing to stop them. So this is our chance, and we can do it. It's certainly doable, but we can't take anything for granted.
Yes, amen to that. Tammy Bruce with us. Last question for you. I want to kind of highlight the vapid nature with which Kamala Harris consistently presents herself. Well, it might be a polished version of her shallowness, but there is never substance to it. All Americans, it's their patriotic duty to be afraid of Donald Trump. That's the Democrat message. It is what your responsibility is as a voter to understand how scary Donald Trump is. You've written the book on fear and fear itself. This is a plan. This is a play from the Democrat Party. And if the Republicans are able to get past this, there could be a massive victory in store for Republicans come November.
Well, that's what we also need, because it's also the down ballot, and the Democrats know that as well. They figure if Kamala loses, then at least they can try to control the House and they can stop Trump that way. So it's not just Trump. But really, if you are able to convince people based on the details of the issues, as Trump does, and it doesn't mean that there isn't anything to be afraid of. I mean, what's going on with immigration and the Venezuelan gangs and the situation in Ohio, there's things to be afraid of. The difference is having a plan to then address it. What the Democrats want you to do is to stop thinking. They want you to not think about the issues or the details or what Trump is saying on the issues. They want you to be afraid, and when you're that afraid, that you then stop using logic and reason and you retreat and you go into the fight or flight mode, and so you stop listening and you stop wondering and you figure, well, there's just one thing I have to do. It's existential threat. I've just got to vote against Trump. The other thing is, I think most people now are dealing with such a daily problem with the economy.
Yes.
That has it's inured them a little bit to the hysterical messages about the doom and gloom regarding Trump. Plus, if he was going to be the maniac combination, mutant child of Hitler and Mussolini, boy, he's very bad at it because he didn't do anything about it from 16 to 20. So we have a history with Trump. They now can't paint him in any kind of fashion without people thinking back, wait, my life was better with him, right? Things were okay. There was no wars. I didn't, all, et cetera. So I think that's where the fear mongering doesn't necessarily take as much hold. And it's an exciting time. It is the door is unlocked for us to make this change, but it has to be also for the House and the Senate. So that I know the Democrats are working on that, and we have to as well, because a Donald Trump without a House and or the Senate is going to be, really kind of kneecapped a little bit with what he's going to be able to accomplish.
Yep, completely. All hands on deck for the next 50 or so days for everybody listening right now. Tammy Bruce, always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thanks for giving us some of your time this afternoon. We'll do it again.
Thank you, Annie. It's always great.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Tammy Bruce is a Fox News contributor and an AMAC columnist, and her best-selling book, Fear Itself, Exposing the Left's Mind-Killing Agenda. I encourage you to check this out. It'll be like a little therapy session for you. She has such a great way with words, and we're always grateful when she comes on our show to share them with us. Let's take a quick break. Tyrus is going to be with us when we come back. Is that right? Tyrus is next?
Yes.
Okay, sounds good. Let's get the conversation going with Tyrus. I'm just going to ask him about the way some of these different celebrities are coming out. We played the Usher clip for you a little bit earlier. Joy Behar's like, now's the time. It's imperative that you endorse Kamala Harris because of the existential threat of Donald Trump. And Usher's like, no, I'm not going to do that. Just vote however you feel is important for you. We've got one from a very prominent athlete as well. We'll play that for you with Tyrus when we come back.
And she don't care that I can fly her to places she ain't never been. If she really wants to.
TheDiamondShop.net, that's the website. You can go on to TheDiamondShop.net. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, sign up to become a VIP. It's really easy to do, no big deal. But you're going to get the opportunity to have access to special savings and events and news when you become a Diamond Shop VIP. Now, through to September 21st, they are holding their annual clearance sale with up to 70% off some of the beautiful pieces that they have right there in the Diamond Shop in Clayton. So go stop by, go visit, spend some time this weekend at the Diamond Shop. Tell them Annie said hello and see what they have there that you could save big on right now with this annual clearance sale up to September 21st. It's the annual clearance sale up to 70% off. They also have 25% off all watches, even Movado. You can check those out as well. And a reminder, when you show up and you're a VIP, you're probably going to get access to some really extra great savings. You can find them in Clayton. You can also check them out online at thediamondshop.net.
Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Do you worry about running out of money in retirement? Discover how you can make your money last as long as you do with Your Retirement Professors. Sunday evening at 6 on KFTK. 97.1 FM Talk.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan from McKelvey Homes. This month, we're giving $18,980 off our homes in selected communities to celebrate 126 years of legendary quality and craftsmanship. In addition, our skilled craftsmen from the Mid-America Carpenters Union are offering McKelvey buyers up to $10,000 cash towards their new home for closing costs or lower interest rates. Combine these two incredible offers and save big on your McKelvey home. But hurry, this rare opportunity won't last long. Visit McKelveyHomes.com.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
You've got thoughts. Did you know you also have a microphone? Listen to 97.1 on the Odyssey app and click the microphone to leave a voice message. Whatever's on your mind, let us know by clicking the microphone in the Odyssey app.
Well, I got a woman way over town that's good to me. Oh yeah, say I got a woman way over town, good to me. Oh yeah, she give me money.
Family again today on Fox News in relation to his campaign. I just wonder what your reaction is to seeing that.
Yeah, I think I've always said I don't want my place and my platform to be used to endorse a candidate or do whatever. Either way, I think my place is to inform people to get registered to vote. It's to inform people to do their own research and then make their best decision for them and their family. And so I think that's every time I'm on this stage and I get asked these questions, I'm going to refer back to that because I think that's what makes America so great.
I think it was important, though. I don't know if important is the right word, but when you were at the U.S. Open this past weekend and you guys were there with Taylor and Travis, I mean, is that an important image to show that, people who may have different philosophies can?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've always, even dating back, I think if you've seen my history, I've grown up with people from every aspect of life and every background. And I think the best thing about a football locker room and kind of how I've grown up in baseball locker rooms, everything about that is people can come together and achieve something and achieve a common goal. And I think if we can, we talked about it a while back, but I think if we can do that as a nation, I think we can get the best out of each other. And so I think that's something that I do every single day. And whenever I'm hanging out with whoever, I'm not thinking about their political views or anything like that. I'm thinking about the people and how they treat other people. And I was with a lot of great people this weekend.
So there's Patrick Mahomes, quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs, saying like the most American thing that you could possibly hear someone say. It's very refreshing. And we got to know, of course, what Tyrus thinks about it.
You're becoming like my most stable relationship.
Enough said.
Well, you see him as a regular on Gutfeld, Fox News contributor. He also has a book out, which you should absolutely get. Enough said. Go check it out. Tyrus, welcome back to the show. I don't know if you'd heard that Patrick Mahomes clip yet, but isn't it nice to hear someone say, I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, and I think you should hang out with all sorts of people?
No, it was Patrick Mahomes. Like I said, if he wasn't a Chief, if he was a Patriot, I would probably wear a T-shirt with his face on it. Like he's a good guy, and he gave the right answer. But the real problem is you have a reporter sitting with probably the best quarterback since Tom Brady, and that's the question you ask him.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the problem. The baiting. Who cares who anyone votes for? Like that's your basis. So I can be. Let's just say I'm a jerk since we're on live air.
Thank you.
I'm horrible to my wife and kids. I never show up to work on time. I cheat on my taxes. I'm a generally bad person. I laugh at old ladies when they fall on the ground, but I vote for the same person you do, so we're good. Does that make sense? Because is anyone be like, Tyrus, you're up for 3 counts of murder. How do you plead? Well, I did vote Democrat, Your Honor. Well, then obviously it was an accident. Just case dismissed. I mean, this is just, the problem is this. All the questions you could ask him, and he only asked them for one reason. Says hopefully he could get a headline to somehow say that Mahomes versus Taylor Swift. It's like I said on Gutfeld the other night when they were like, Taylor Swift is going to endorse Kamala. Great. And Kim Jones in Mandeville is going to vote for President Trump. So it's 1-1. And then I asked the audience how many people are voting for Trump. Believe it or not, it was overwhelming. And I said, okay, so we're up 77-1 because she only has one vote. If you vote for a person you like how they sing, and again, on top of that, all her songs are about bad choices. Just putting it out there.
Tyrus, I think you've been in the public eye for a long time, and watching celebrities and athletes and musicians, these public figures, put their politics out there, they're not, my mind is they're never doing it if they think it's bad for business. They've thought that it's good for business, and now it feels like there's a little more pressure to keep it out of their mouth or their press conferences.
I disagree with you. I think that it keeps them in the business still.
All publicity is good publicity?
Well, when everything else is failing, then you go political. Because one group will embrace you, and there'll be a short rush of money, maybe a book deal or some engagements or whatever, but then they'll flip to the other side if that helps them. The thing is that the Hollywood elites have controlled the extreme left, so it's very advantageous to vote like them and think like them because they're going to give you a job. And then, of course, we see all the woke movies. Well, we don't. That's because they don't last very long. So, I mean, and then you end up in the same place, whatever. I mean, look, and the right is guilty of it. Every washed-up actor that shows up at Fox all of a sudden and is now a diehard Republican is laughable. It's like, and they started doing the B movies and stuff, and you're just like, come on, where you been? You get to a point, and someone like Taylor Swift, who, unless just has the worst gambling addiction ever heard to man, will not need money for the rest of her days, who she votes for, if they even vote at all, because they're on an entirely different plane. They could just call the president and have someone call the president and be like, hey, is there any way you could change this and change that for me? Or can I have a meeting with you to discuss this and that? And they're on that level of elitism. So it's a little different when they talk about voting because it doesn't matter who goes in and goes out. Very little is going to happen to their bottom line. So I don't see a single mother of 5 in Wisconsin having the same voting habits as Taylor Swift. It's nothing against her, but that's what she chooses to do. And there's a lot of pressure. The timing of it, let's think about it. Kamala just had her amazing intervention. It was an intervention. You know what it was? It was like a few years back. I had screwed up in my relationship, and I had to go have dinner with her and her family, where she had told them all the stuff I did, but nothing that she did. That was what the debate was. Trump was at the table hearing all the things he did, and And then when he tried to explain himself, she was like, no, that's not happened. You said this. And he's like, okay. So, but even with all that and all the stuff's out, did she have hearing aids in? Even if she did,
Hey,
and
you
that's
brought
the
it up.
best you do.
Does she? What you think those earrings are headphones?
Yeah, 1,000%. But here's the deal: that is the worst coach in the history. That is worse than the old movie I saw with Steve Martin. Was it Roxanne, where he was giving Petruchio, where he was giving dating tips? Was it Easy Money? Yeah, Easy Money, same thing. So, yeah, if someone was in the headphones, say Project 25. Say Project 25. Oh, wait. Flipping through pages. Tell him this. Like, if that is it. But that is like I said, that was a devastating debate in terms of everyone already knew what it was before it was. The ratings weren't that great on the debate. And that stick of painting Trump as Hitler doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. And that's all you got. And that's all she had. And we own guns. And then the follow-up question should have been, what kind?
Exactly.
And I thought it was amazing that no one asked. You told the American people that President Biden was better than he ever was, and you couldn't keep up with him. And then he gets pulled out of the race because he has dementia. So on the record, you are saying that a old man with dementia or whatever they want to call it, outworked you. And you were even the last person in the room. So why are you running for president again?
Yeah.
Again, the only thing worse was listening to them tell themselves, this is a historic. Like, why don't you talk like that when I call? Like, good afternoon, this is the Annie Fry Show, and this is an historic episode with Tyrus. If we say it enough.
I will get you a new intro.
No. I like that one. It makes me laugh. Yeah.
Oh, man. Tyrus, I only got like a minute.
Broke.
I
know.
I got a minute left, but our YouTube poll for today, and this is kind of spawned out of the debate and something that Donald Trump said. He said that Joe Biden, he really hates Kamala Harris. And it's consequential in no way, shape, or form, but it's an interesting thought. Does Joe Biden, you think, like Kamala Harris?
Here's the thing about Joe, and I'll just leave it at this. The biggest, craziest statement from the whole debate was when he was watching it, he asked his pundit that was with him who the lady was that was yelling at the president.
Okay.
So I don't know if he likes her or not. Maybe they should meet.
Maybe they should spend some time together. Oh, man.
Well, that's my time.
Thank you, Tyrus. I understand.
No, thank you.
You're in Oregon. Is that right? Is that correct?
Yes, I'm in Oregon.
Well,
yes.
That's beautiful there.
I was told that they didn't have time for me today because they had a real guest on. So
No, Tammy Bruce, we cut her off to get you on the show in good time.
Please don't tell Tammy that.
I'm going to let her know. Tyrus, thank you.
No. Is that revenge for the whole make fun of you thing when you took a day off?
I just
again,
one day.
I was pretty clear that wasn't me.
I'm never taking another Thursday off. Never another Thursday.
But it was all Brad.
I know. Brad,
for the record, it was Brad. It was not me.
That's the way Brad is. All right. Thanks, Tyrus. We'll talk to you soon.
You got to watch him. All right.
Bye.
Bye.
He's picking on you. What did you?
I didn't even do nothing.
It was like 2 weeks ago. Tyrus was talking about the Thursday that I took off. That was migraine day?
Yes, that was migraine day.
That was me taking off at like 10:45 a.m. Like, guys, I was driving here and I was losing my vision. I couldn't even get to the studio, but it happened to be a Thursday. And when I take time off, that wasn't really like time I took off. I was sick, but I'm always like, oh, it's Tyrus Day. I don't want to miss Tyrus Day. And sometimes if I'm not here, you guys will tell Tyrus, Annie's out. You can skip if you want to. Kind of depends on what we got going on. And then he sometimes does the show. Sometimes maybe he's busy and he was squeezing us in or whatever. I need to go back and listen to that because apparently there was crap given to me because I was laid up in bed without vision.
It was Ryan. It wasn't Brad.
Everything is starting to make sense to me now. All right, let's take a quick break. More Annie Fry Show around the corner. Does Joe Biden like Kamala Harris? Go vote. YouTube poll. We'll be right back.
More good news for Frederick Roofing, voted best roofing company by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
314-645-2000.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
At Onder Law, we deliver big judgments for the little guy. Onder Law takes on the biggest industries and holds them accountable. Call today for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. With Ramp, you get full visibility into your company's spending and control who spends what with each vendor. Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts instantly to save your team valuable time. Ramp automates data entry and routine tasks with automated approvals, expense categorization and bill payments, time-consuming tasks. Which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. Get $250 when you join Ramp for free. Just go to ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. ramp.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for New Perspective Senior Living in Weldon Spring. New Perspective is just opening. I had the chance to take a tour and meet the staff. I got to tell you, this place is amazing. They offer state-of-the-art independent or assisted living as well as memory care. Imagine your loved one enjoying delicious meals, activities, entertainment, and even an AI fall detection system. New Perspective Senior Living of Weldon Spring is redefining senior living. Visit npseniorliving.com to schedule a tour today. That's npseniorliving.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Hurricane recovery in Louisiana. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Utility crews have a lot more work to do a day after Francine's landfall as a Category 2 storm.
At the peak, we had over 450,000 people without power, and right now we're down to 350,000 people without power.
Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry urging residents to stay off the roads to help speed restoration. Francine is still on the move, now a tropical depression, heading north through Mississippi with heavy rain and a threat of tornadoes. Thousands of firefighters doing battle with thousands of residents evacuated in Southern California, where several wildfires in the mountains east of L.A. have now burned more than 100,000 acres.
I can hear the constant thump of helicopter rotor blades taking off for their water drops. We've also seen fixed-wing aircraft over us acting as spotters for the firefighters. Every resource that CAL FIRE has is being thrown at these fires, but it is an ongoing battle, and it will be a long one.
Fox's Jonathan Hunt is in Wrightwood, a ski resort town where hotspots continue a few days after flames charred the hillsides. Vice President Kamala Harris now in Charlotte for the first of 2 North Carolina rallies today.
The vice president is getting aggressive. This is a state, North Carolina, that Donald Trump won twice, and it was slipping away from Joe Biden again before they lost him from the ticket. And now the Harris team is trying to capitalize on what they see as debate momentum. Quinnipiac is putting Harris over Trump by 3 points in the Tar Heel state now, 50-47. That's a poll that was taken before the Philly debate.
Fox's Peter Ducey in Charlotte. The Fox News power rankings now give Harris the overall lead for the first time, projecting 341 Electoral College votes compared to 219 for Trump, with North Carolina and Georgia moving from lean Republican to toss-up. America is listening to Fox News.
Seems like there's more identity theft in the news every day.
Another major healthcare breach was reported today, resulting in the exposure of 1 in 4 consumers have been a victim of identity.
That's because there are endless places that could accidentally expose you to identity theft, in a breach, or simply by mistake. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie, and one thing I've learned is that you buy a house, but you make it a home. Because with every fix, update, and renovation, it becomes a little more your own. So you need all your jobs done well. For nearly 30 years, Angie has helped millions of homeowners hire skilled pros for the projects that matter. From plumbing to electrical, roof repair to deck upgrades. So leave it to the pros who will get your jobs done well. Hire high-quality certified pros at Angie.com.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Kind of a warm evening around town. Temperatures in the 80s this evening. Partly cloudy skies. 66 should do it for the low. On Thursday, more and more clouds take over. So more clouds than sun. Certainly the afternoon will be cloudy. 86. Thursday night, developing showers, possible thunderstorms, mainly after midnight. 65. Friday, periods of tropical showers and possible thunderstorms. 74. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
Just imagine being walked all over for 36 years. Who would do that? The great customers of Reinhold Flooring, that's who. For over 3.5 decades, Reinhold Flooring has been the mecca for carpet, hardwood, vinyl, laminate, and area rugs. Reinhold Flooring is customer-driven with a focus on top-quality products and installations from the best team in the business. So come on in and walk all over your next flooring at Reinhold Flooring. Visit them at 5429 Telegraph Road in St. Louis or online at reinholdflooring.com.
The Retirement Advisory Group is having their next, and I think final for 2024, Protecting Your Retirement educational event. And I love these. I get to go to these. I'm there from about 6 o'clock to 6:30 p.m. And Mark Cox and Mark Reardon are there as well. And we love greeting you, getting to know each of you in this packed room that for the next 30, 45 minutes after we hand it over to Bob and Tammy Kershaw and Thomas Helbig of the Retirement Advisory Group, they guide you through the transitionary period from where you are working to where you are retired. And when you do it, you can do it with confidence. You are at that time in your life where retirement is the next thing up. You're excited about it, but you're also a little anxious. This is a free event that you can attend Tuesday, October 1st at the Frontenac Hilton. The event begins at 6:30 p.m., so make sure you're there by 6:30 and you won't miss anything. But if you show up early from 6 to 6:30, myself and Mark will be there to say hello. You do have to reserve your spot. Call 314-993-9494, 314-993-9494, or look them up online at retirementkey.com.
Del Walmsley and the Wealth Cycle.
This is the wealth cycle that I've taught for 30 years. Buy one house, 10 houses, an apartment, 2 apartments, 8, 20, 500 units, 1,000 units, 2,000, 5,000 units. And as you keep putting the money and the profits back in, you become one of those rich people. And much quicker than you'd even believe.
Learn Del's Wealth Cycle at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Use promo code 2024. Save 60%. Code 2024. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
12 amazing children, one special evening. The Night of Rock Stars is September 27th, giving special needs kids a celebrity treatment they'll never forget. Join us for this month's Conservatives Care, The Night of Rock Stars, by visiting 971talk.com/events.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
How will you feel if Trump doesn't win, Diane?
Petrified.
Petrified?
Petrified.
Of what may be happening?
All the illegals coming through, they're going to make it up here to Michigan.
What is going on at the border scares me to death. I just hold my breath every day hoping that somebody that I love doesn't get hurt.
Really? You think about it that much?
Yes.
So you got Major Garrett from CBS, used to be with Fox News a while back, and he's in Michigan at the diner like the diner in Michigan. There's probably more than one. Talking to these people about what happens if Kamala Harris gets elected. This woman says that she is terrified of the thought of somehow or another Donald Trump not winning. I find it kind of interesting that she says that the illegal immigrants are going to make their way up to Michigan. You know, folks, it's important to remember that the Biden administration is flying these immigrants out of their home countries into the United States. So some sort of jaunt on foot all the way up to Michigan, that's a plane ticket funded by Joe Biden through your tax dollars. It's pretty ridiculous. Here's another clip that we played a little bit earlier
For
from
this
that
election,
diner.
would you say your mind is made up?
Yes.
And that is?
Trump.
Okay. Are you a previous Trump supporter?
The first year he won in 2016, I was not.
Did you vote for Hillary?
I did vote for Hillary.
Okay.
And I cried when she did not win.
Okay. Then what happened?
And then I just felt like he did a good job. I liked the fact that he was not a politician.
You believe you were better off.
So when she says she was a Hillary supporter, was heartbroken when Hillary lost, a lot of people were like that. A lot of people were heartbroken when Donald Trump lost, and it was a very emotional thing when he didn't win in 2020. There are definitely a lot of videos out there and anecdotes and gifs and stuff of people being very emotional when Hillary Clinton lost. And while that's kind of been memed, I think that as a human being, you can understand if you were really connected to the Hillary Clinton campaign, if it was really important to you that a woman become the president, if it was ingrained in your brain by a media that sold the idea that she was 100% going, like 99% going to win that election, and then she didn't, it would be heartbreaking. I mean, good grief, people cry when their team doesn't win the World Series or the Super Bowl or whatever it might be. So there's a lot at stake there. And when this voter says here that she cried when Hillary lost, I don't think that that's something to laugh at or make fun of. I understand the emotion behind something when you've really put your heart and soul into it and it doesn't pan out. But then she comes around to now being a Donald Trump voter, and the thing about Trump that she likes as a former Hillary supporter, think about that. The politician's politician, Hillary Clinton, was manufactured to become the president of the United States. She now supports Donald Trump because he's not a politician like the rest of them. I think that's very important when you are judging Donald Trump and a debate performance for Donald Trump doing Donald Trump things, as opposed to straighten your tie, stand up straight, doing super slick politician things. So Major Garrett then went on to CBS. This is him in front of the panel, and he's doing what reporters do, and he's reporting back to these individuals.
And so I talked to 20 voters. Not one of them was undecided.
Wow.
Not one.
Not one. And headlines come and go, but let me tell you this. Support for former President Trump is real and resilient. I encounter that everywhere I went. And that's something the Harris campaign knows, recognizes. It's a fact in Michigan. And so I talked to...
So when you think of what Major Garrett is saying right there, he talked to 20 voters. He didn't talk to all of Michigan. He talked to 20 voters. But the 20 that he saw, not one of them, didn't he just say not one of them was a supporter of Kamala Harris?
Not one.
The factor here that we need to remember when you see anecdotes like that was CBS, correct?
Yeah. CBS Mornings.
There is passion behind support for Donald Trump. The people who support Donald Trump are motivated. They are going to move. If this happens to be a turnout election, we know that the people supporting Donald Trump are passionately supportive of him. His policies, yes. What he's done before, yes. But they like the man who is their candidate. They're going to be excited to check the box next to the name that they're voting for. Kamala Harris, to me, I don't think she has that enthusiasm anywhere near what Donald Trump has. I think Kamala Harris has a lot of people who are very, very motivated to check the box, not next to the name Donald Trump, which happens to be Kamala Harris. How much will the motivating factor of support behind what we are seeing for Donald Trump affect turnout. I think that in the swing states, it will be the deciding factor. Which side is more positively motivated by the candidate that they are voting for. So we have another clip here from Jake Tapper, and I find this to be incredibly interesting. So far, what we've played for you with various people on the show today, we've played for you a clip from Usher. And you're like, Annie, why were you playing Usher? It wasn't the bump music. It was him sitting on The View with Joy Behar. Joy Behar trying to pressure him into doing what obviously is the right thing for him to do, which is to publicly endorse Kamala Harris right now. And Usher did not do it. He did not endorse Donald Trump. He just said, I think you need to decide for yourself what's important to you in your life, and I think you need to vote accordingly. And that was it. He did not take the bait. He did not use that as an opportunity to pump up a political figure. Usher decided not to. So there's the music industry, movie industry as well, television industry. And then you have Patrick Mahomes. We played that clip when we were talking with Tyrus. And we were the reporter, not much to Tyrus's chagrin, is asking Mahomes, like, do you feel like it's important to endorse a candidate? Because right now, Patrick Mahomes' wife, Brittany Mahomes, has said nice things in the area of Trump. She has not endorsed Trump for president, to my knowledge. She hasn't come out and said, I am voting for Donald Trump. But she was out liking things of Donald Trump's and not backing down from it when people were pressuring her on it. And then, of course, we have the Taylor Swift endorsement of Kamala Harris that came the same night as the debate. I thought that was a wasted 1-2 punch. Those are two pretty big punches if people think you win the debate. And then Taylor Swift comes out and endorses right afterwards. I would think you'd want to spread that out a little bit. Well, Taylor Swift is dating Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce is a tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs, and Patrick Mahomes is the quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. They've had a little success in their time in Kansas City, and they're teammates, and they need to remain strong, good teammates in order to continue to be as successful as they are. So, of course, they go places together. And while Taylor Swift has endorsed Kamala Harris and Brittany Mahomes has all but endorsed Donald Trump, here you have these two female individuals, and they were in the same place at the same time. Gasp. Don't they know? I mean, it's kind of obnoxious because you're in the same place at the same time all the time with people who you know you politically disagree with, and yet you function like adults. How? It's like we need to have like a who's the David Attenborough? Is he the one who does like talk about them in their natural habitats of people who are coexisting in the wild? It's crazy. We're watching from a celebrity status a small movement away from them having to force everything they think politically down our throats. I don't think that all of a sudden we're having a huge political shift in Hollywood or in the sports arena or whatever, or the music arena. I don't know that necessarily the politics are shifting, but for some reason I feel like they're being less inclined to throw it out there and, entrusting their fans to make their own gosh darn decisions. And in the same parallel universe that we're used to living in, CNN, who we saw moderate that debate between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, we know how that one ended. We said it on this show. The next day, one of the highlights was that Jake Tapper and Dana Bash did a pretty good job. Mm-hmm. They did a very fine job. I think we graded things. I think we gave them like an A-. I don't even know why we wouldn't have given them an A now, like in retrospect. If we're grading on a curve, they get extra credit over 100% compared to ABC. But you see CNN hosting this debate, and it's an incredibly fair debate. And then after the ABC debate, CNN and Jake Tapper go in and do a little
Vice President
reaction.
Harris began the debate by punting the first question on the economy.
Do you believe Americans are better off than they were 4 years ago?
So I was raised as a middle-class kid, and I am actually the only person on this stage who has a plan that is about lifting up the middle class and working people of America.
It went on from there. Despite the economy being the #1 issue facing the country, the sitting vice president generally reverted to talking points about a few of her policy proposals. Even Harris allies today are saying that she needs to talk more about what she will do for Americans if elected. Senator Bernie Sanders will be here in a second to talk about more about the need for her to fill in some of those blanks. On the border, another vulnerable issue for Harris, she also dodged.
Would you have done anything differently from President Biden on this?
So I'm the only person on this stage who has prosecuted transnational criminal organizations for the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings.
Okay, that wasn't the question. When asked how she would break through the Israel-Hamas war stalemate, Harris said this.
We need a ceasefire deal and we need the hostages out. And so we will continue to work around the clock on that.
Okay, but again, how?
Jake Tapper, high five. Well done. Way to go. Why is he asking these questions all of a sudden? Why is he pressuring the non-answers from Kamala Harris? He doesn't have to do it because they haven't always done it. I think that CNN, I mean, I'm happy to say, I think CNN is doing a much more fair job than they have before. And simply asking these questions of why doesn't she answer the question? Does Jake Tapper look better as a moderator because he is now presenting himself on CNN to be more fair? Does it make him look better? Does it make the network look better than ABC? I mean, they're competitors, so maybe there's a little bit of industry play there where you're going to downplay the other people who have gotten the debate so far. You know, what's it going to be? Why is CNN all of a sudden asking these questions? Why is Aaron Burnett on the K-File exposing the 2019 is it the ACLU? Am I getting that correct?
Yeah.
ACLU questionnaire that Kamala Harris filled out, where she wanted to give taxpayer funds to help gender medical care and transitions for detained migrants, illegal immigrants. That's like a no, and no. For most voters out there that are looking at their own pocketbook going, and which one of the dollars that I earn are you going to take to make that happen? I mean, this is a bold statement, but even more than having a great president of the United States, our country would be even greater served by having a great media that were activists for the truth, for exposing what is real for people like you and people like me, because that gives us the information we need to vote accordingly. A fair, unbiased, truth-seeking media is the predicate to good government. And we don't have that right now. But anytime I see an entity like CNN doing something like this, high five, credit where credit is due. Just ask the questions. Even when Dana Bash had Kamala Harris and Tim Walz on, you know, we said, like, she did ask some tough questions of Kamala Harris. So credit for that, but she didn't follow up and she didn't pin him down. I'd kind of like to see Jake Tapper do a review of that interview. Anyway, some positive light coming from Jake Tapper and CNN. Let's go take a quick break. When we come back, let's discuss the YouTube poll. And I've got several of your comments set aside here to feature in this discussion. Does Joe Biden like Kamala Harris? Yes or no? Does it matter? No. But it's interesting to think about. And when you see Donald Trump yesterday putting on a Trump hat, have you seen this? It's unbelievable. It's real. When Joe Biden is putting on a Trump hat, and Donald Trump is saying earlier that week that he can't stand her. When a race is as close as this, everything matters. Go vote in the YouTube poll. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Jen Teskey and Remax Alliance, what a team, waiting for your phone call so that you can jump in the game. That market, the home inventory right now, you may want to be thinking about listing your home, 618-541-1010. Lord knows what's going to happen with rates, but there is a lot of chatter that the market is about to get hot. You want to make sure that you've had those conversations ahead of time so that you hit the market at the right time. 618-541-1010. 618-541-1010. Jen Teskey and her team, along with RE/MAX Alliance, has what it takes to give you the best possible positioning for a great sale process. Also, if you are looking to buy in Illinois, you want to reach out to Jen Teskey and have that conversation with her now so that when those new homes do pop up on the market, you get a first look at them and you have the expertise of the Jen Teskey team with RE/MAX Alliance behind you, helping guide you throughout the entire process. 618-541-1010, JenTeskeyHomes.com.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated, forlorn even, like your efforts are futile, and you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine. Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all of that. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, you can forget your frustrations because we find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Fantastic.
So, whether you need to hire 4, 40, or 400 people, get ready to meet first-rate talent. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Don't forget, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Finally, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
It's not just about watching the game, it's about betting on it. I'm Mike Valeni, and on Cash the Ticket, Jim Costa and I break down every college football and NFL matchup like it's the last game we're ever going to watch. From the best bets to the sneaky underdogs, and of course, as my co-host likes to say, the value. And the one thing we're not going to do is pretend we're professionals. We have fun with it, it's an entertainment product, and it makes watching games a hell of a lot of fun. So Cash the Ticket, follow it in the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Outdoor Living Redefined, brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design, your trusted partner in crafting stunning decks, inviting screened rooms, and elegant porch overhangs. Imagine enjoying a crisp morning coffee on your beautifully designed deck or hosting gatherings in a spacious screened room. Lakeside turns your vision into reality. Our skilled craftsmen use top-notch materials to create spaces that stand up to the elements and stand out in style. Elevate your lifestyle with Lakeside's outdoor living expertise. Visit our showroom or call Lakeside Renovation and Design today.
What's it going to take for you to realize the IRS is in full-blown attack mode, and if you have IRS issues, your timely response is critical? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We certainly know the IRS has ramped up efforts because we're seeing a lot more clients with threats of intents to seize property or levy rights to property. If you have IRS issues, call the Lance Drury Firm today. Today, don't wait. Those IRS notices have hard deadlines for exercising your appeal rights. If you miss the deadline, your rights to a legal appeal are gone. Let the Lance Drury Law Firm get between you and the IRS today, and we'll help you manage your case to achieve the best outcome. IRS problems are serious legal matters, so call Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Don't wait. Call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120, and schedule your free consultation with me, Lance Drury, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-513-4444. 800-513-4444. 800-513-4444.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gsLHonorFlight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Want to listen to 97.1 outside the listening area? There's an app for that. Download the Odyssey app, and one tap will turn the station on. The Odyssey app for 97.1 FM Talk.
You can hear them going crazy in stadiums in every nation. A never-ending celebration, baby. That's how we show
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
We do it for the fans, the boys in the band. Where the ladies let the crowd in, 'cause it's about to get loud in here. And we're only getting started, baby. Everybody wanna party with the boys in the band. The boys in the band.
And you know what? I'll give you a little secret. He hates her. He can't stand her.
That's Donald Trump from the debate earlier this week. He was talking about Joe Biden hating Kamala Harris. And, I kind of thought about that. I'm like, I wonder if he really does hate her. Because I'll be honest, when they're in the same place at the same time, they seem very affectionate towards one another. What do you think, Brad? Does Joe Biden like Kamala Harris? Yes or no?
No, I don't think he does. I really don't think he likes her. And as a matter of fact, I don't know that he I really think Jill Biden doesn't like her.
Well, you scooped me.
Okay.
Because I think
that.
Joe Biden, gosh, this is probably not unlike maybe even your marriage listening right now, but he might be like, whatever. I think Jill detests Kamala Harris. Thinks she's a snake.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, I saw this on this rolling around Twitter yesterday, and it's like, Joe Biden doesn't like her, blah, blah, blah. But I was like, he's also, I think he's mad at the establishment for running him out of the job that he was going to try to do and running for a second term.
She was the soft landing.
And she was, but I also think that he looked at that and that he jumped the gun and endorsed her before anybody else had a chance to say anything. And they're like, well, okay, now we got to go with this now, because I think maybe he wants to feel vindicated if the Democrats lose.
Xavier says on YouTube, yes. The question is, does Joe Biden like Kamala? Xavier says yes. In politics, relationships are complicated, but yeah, there's obviously fondness there. He didn't have to endorse her immediately, and had he not, she wouldn't have consolidated power. I don't think that that's necessarily true. I think as far as the necessity of Joe Biden to act upon his feelings, I just think there's so much in play right now that isn't on the front of the stage for us to see how these things are figured out. That's the way everything is in politics. There's so much jockeying. Anytime there's a statewide race or whatever, you've seen this in Missouri here this year. There's so much positioning and jockeying and favors being called in and threats being made about, you're going to support me and you are not going to run because we have decided we are supporting XYZ. And it's just, all of this is going on in the background. And then the public gets to vote on the candidates that were able to withstand all the private behind the scenes jockeying. And then, you've got a choice from there. But to what Xavier says about there's an obvious fondness there, I do feel like Joe Biden seems genuinely fond of Kamala Harris. I just feel more and more with each passing day like Joe Biden is a pawn. He is a piece in a game that has been willing to do his duty and his job, and he's still doing his duty and his job. He finally stepped down. I think that maybe he was supposed to step down a long time ago. I've been not clearly saying that on the show. If you've listened for a while, you know that I have said for years that Joe Biden would not be the person on the ticket for the Democrats in 2024. And I really think that Jill Biden is the factor that made it take as long as it did. And based on what we have seen from and heard from Nancy Pelosi and the way she's thrown her weight around in this, it seems like she seems like, I'm really sorry to have had to do to Joe Biden what I had to do to Joe Biden in order to give us a chance to win because I like Joe Biden. Well, I'm sure they all like him a lot. He saved the Democrat Party from Donald Trump once. And when they talk about his legacy, when the left talks about how history will look back on Joe Biden, you have to remember that the Democrats feel like Joe Biden was the willful, happy warrior who would do what was asked of him in order to save America from a second term of Donald Trump. Now it's all at stake again. And if everything is at stake again, and you got to do it again, they got to ask more of Joe Biden to save the country from Donald Trump, which this time means him stepping back. Kamala Harris willfully steps in. She seems to, I haven't really seen her in any way, shape, or form cross Joe Biden other than the obvious stealing of his job. I've never seen them together where I felt like it felt cold. I have never seen her be in an interview or on a stage where the Joe Biden conversation comes up and she decide, like she makes the choice to depart from Joe Biden. She has not separated herself from Joe Biden at all. And if you look at the policies that they've put forward, if you wanted Joe Biden's second term, you can still vote for it. You just have to vote for Kamala Harris because that's 100% what we are looking at. With Kamala Harris in the presidency, should she win the election, it will be the second term of Joe Biden and maybe an even more progressively far left effective one. Hard pass for me. No, thank you. I'm not interested. But I kind of agree with Xavier. Does Joe Biden like Kamala Harris? I kind of think in a he should know better but doesn't way he does. And I think that Jill doesn't at all. I don't think if I were Jill, I'd like her either. But I don't really like Jill, so she's the worst.
Yeah, I don't like Jill either. But I don't think Joe does.
You're a no.
Yeah, I'm a no. I don't think he does. I don't think it's like an out and out hatred, but I think that there's a bitterness there, and I really think that this is kind of new, and it kind of stems from her taking his job essentially, even though he threw it in her place or in her lap essentially by endorsing her. I think he's mad. I think he's mad about everything that went on behind the scenes, and that includes everybody that he would know or think would be involved in it. And I think she would be one of those.
Christopher agrees with you. He said, I said yes until I saw the video of Biden putting on the Trump hat, which we played a little bit earlier, and posing with the kids in Trump apparel. And now I think it's a firm no. If you haven't seen that video yet, you can go to the Andy Fry YouTube and watch a little bit earlier in the show. It's all over X. You can check it out there. But yes, Joe Biden put on a Trump hat. It's real. When I saw it at first, I'm like, AI is getting lazy. Like, Joe Biden's not wearing a Trump hat. And then I was laying in bed, scrolling through Twitter, getting some stuff ready for the next day. And I'm like, well, holy crap. There's the video and the whole conversation. It's quite something. When we come back, I've got an interesting story here that we're going to walk through. If you want to keep a strong bond with your adult children, say hello to these 7 habits. Right now, a lot of people are sending their kids. It's September. It's the middle of September. So if you're sending your kids to college, you've probably already done that. Sometimes pretty soon, I don't know, you probably be like a week or so away, a couple weeks away from a quick fall break. They might be coming back home. Weird adjustment time. So we're going to talk about establishing strong, solid relationships with your adult children. But there is some breaking news that I wanted to report here from Fox News. Senator Richard Blumenthal, a Democrat senator from Connecticut, predicted that Americans will be, quote, shocked and appalled when lawmakers release their interim report on the assassination attempt on former President Trump and the security failures of those involved to protect the GOP presidential nominee. Acting U.S. Secret Service Director Ronald Rowe provided senators with an update Thursday, it's today, on the investigation into the failed assassination in a closed-door meeting. Blumenthal told Fox News, quote, I think the American people are going to be shocked, astonished, and appalled by what we will report to them about the failures of the Secret Service in this assassination attempt on the former president. But I think they also ought to be appalled and astonished by the failure of the Department of Homeland Security to be more forthcoming, to be as candid and frank as it should be to them in terms of providing information. Senator Gary Peters of Michigan told Fox News, it will be coming out shortly, and it will only be an interim report because there's a lot more information that we need to find. And we hope once this report comes out and we can get the additional information necessary to have a complete report of what happened, as well as steps of what we need to do in the future to make sure that this never happens. And then Fox News reports that Senator Ron Johnson, the Republican from Wisconsin, said lawmakers want to make sure the public understands that the report will be done in a bipartisan fashion. He said there was some frustration voiced with Roe on Thursday. Johnson said, quote, so he's making the commitment to, provide more information, but we're hoping to get this preliminary report out before this work period. So again, we're on a pretty tight time constraint. Again, it's important people realize we are dedicated to a bipartisan product. So that hearing was held today, and we saw that they were doing that, and we're like, I don't think it's going to be public already. It looks like it will be made public very soon. And when you hear Blumenthal out there saying this is really bad, this report needs to get out here as soon as possible. And God willing, Donald Trump is safe where he is right now. I will remind you that when the lawfare was taking place against Donald Trump and they found him guilty in that Manhattan trial that is likely to be completely and totally overturned, that there were Democratic elected officials in Washington, D.C., in Congress, lobbying for Donald Trump to lose his Secret Service protection. How disgusting. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
If it is love, then why these new additions keep on showing up? And why the boys
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
can't get enough? You can hear them going crazy in stadiums in every nation. A never-ending celebration.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Annie Fry, and Mark Reardon, along with Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group for the next Protecting Your Retirement educational event. It's Tuesday, October 1st at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Here are Thomas and Bob with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and wondering what to do with your life savings? Are you concerned how this coming election can affect the stock market and your retirement? Would you like to have a personalized structured income plan that shows you the monthly income you can receive and how to never outlive it?
Did you also know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to protect your nest egg from any more losses? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 and a half or older, you can't afford to miss the last event of the year. Protect your retirement nest egg. Join the official financial advisors of my show, Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw, Tuesday, October 1st at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun. Always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon from my friends at ThrottleNet, and you've probably heard George Rosenthal from ThrottleNet on the show. He's a technology whiz, and George and his team can educate you and your business on the dangers lurking with technology. Here's a unique opportunity along those lines. Does your company have a lunch and learn or guest speakers? For a limited time, ThrottleNet is providing free lunch and learns to provide cybersecurity awareness training. One click can cause a ton of damage to your business. ThrottleNet is determined to make sure that doesn't happen. And if it does, they're the cybersecurity experts who can help. ThrottleNet is known for high customer satisfaction, averaging 99% happiness with over 35,000 surveys. They have an industry-leading response time of less than 2 minutes. And no clients of ThrottleNet have ever paid ransom as a result of a cyber attack.
Contact ThrottleNet at throttlenet.com/971 and we can schedule your free company lunch. Don't miss out. Find out more today about ThrottleNet at throttlenet.com/971.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-699-1059.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-699-1059. That's 800-699-1059.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This September, Diamonds Direct's ultimate offer is back, stronger than ever. Diamonds Direct helps you get the perfect jewelry gift with 0% interest. That's right. Enjoy 5 years of 0% financing on any Diamonds Direct purchase. It's your chance to get her the perfect ring with 0 interest and comfortable monthly payments that fit your budget. But act fast. This offer ends September 30th. For details and more, visit diamondsdirect.com. Spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest on approved credit. Only at Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Hi, Chad Hansen with Hansen's Tree Service. If your trees are looking sick or if you have insects that aren't welcome in your landscape, Hansen's can help. Our plant health care program offers tree and shrub fertilization as well as pest management to maintain a great-looking landscape. Check us out at hansenstree.com.
Today's YouTube live chat poll, does Joe Biden like Kamala Harris? Yes or no? Donald Trump says no, says he can't stand her. But we want to know what you think. So jump on Annie's YouTube page, leave us a like, drop your comment down, and vote in the poll. Tell us whether or not you think Joe Biden likes Kamala Harris. The time is 2:44. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com. Into the unknown. Into the unknown.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show.
Into the unknown.
Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
I can hear you, but I won't.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We've got a special guest in the studio. This doesn't always happen. Mark Reardon hanging out with us for a little bit. Hi, Mark.
Hello, can I vote in the poll?
Yes, you absolutely can vote in the poll.
He can't stand her.
Does Joe Biden like Kamala Harris?
No way. That was when Trump said that the other night. That absolutely is true. I guarantee it. There's no way, right?
Don't you think Trump has inside information?
Of course.
They all know.
Of course they know. It's like, look, here's inside information that I've shared on Cori Bush. The rest of the squad, they hate her because she's stupid. I mean, look, no matter, I'm not joking here. No matter what you would say about Tlaib and the others, they're not intellectually idiots. They're idiots, but that's just because of ideology.
It's
but
a problem
Corey's,
when they're smart.
Right. But Corey's not smart, and they knew that, so they're not going to miss her at all.
What's Cori Bush going to do?
She's a nurse. She's a faith healer, Annie. I don't know. She's going to faith heal.
I forgot about that. That's a perfect example of a story that I didn't do on this show because I don't think I could contain myself.
I know.
Going into it. It's too nutty.
I don't know what she's going to do. Maybe she'll join Kim Gardner.
Where's Kim?
I don't know if she's nursing now.
Nursing
They're all
also.
nurses, Brad. They're all nurses, I
There's
guess.
something going on in the nursing industry. So you're a no. You think there? I said I think that Joe Biden might be kind of endeared to Kamala Harris, but Jill hates her.
Jill hates everyone, doesn't she? Though.
She likes herself.
Don't we think? Yeah, I know. Well,
power.
Annie, Dr. Jill, come on.
I'm just
really?
gonna go with Jill. So we wanted to have you in here. We're gonna do a story here in just a second on ways to keep a strong bond with your adult children. So we're going to get to that. But Mark Reardon's show comes on right after this one at 3 o'clock on 97.1 FM Talk. What do you have coming up next?
Well, we're going to continue to talk about the fallout after the debate. Scott Jennings will be here. He's been on fire on
Lonely
CNN.
Scott?
Yeah, and he's coming up at 3:25. We'll do a little fun music stuff too. Jeff Faulkner, who has become a friend, he's in a couple of different tribute acts, but they're doing Mr. Blue Sky, which is an ELO act tomorrow night, Chesterfield Amphitheater. Realistically, there are amazing musical events this weekend. There's in Columbia, Illinois, there's an event. There's music at the intersection. There's this. So we got good music stuff going on in St. Louis the next few weeks.
You've had a good long relationship with Scott Jennings, right? You've had him for a while.
Really, what's funny is that I used to listen to Scott and my friend Joe Arnold overnight when I was driving to WTMJ doing a morning show in 1998, and Scott Jennings was my friend Joe Arnold, who was the host, his news anchor at the time. And then many years later, Joe reminded me, hey, remember that guy that I used to do radio with? He's now a political consultant, and I met Jennings, and yeah, we've known each other for probably 8 or 9 years now.
He's doing really well. Like, his exposure level, is it just me?
Oh, no,
in the last, because I watch CNN through clips that I consume on the internet. I don't usually, unless I'm feeling really feisty, then you switch the channel. But he's making a ton of sense. He's getting a ton of play. And I feel like CNN is giving him a little more elbow room to do what he needs to do to have his voice be heard.
Yeah, and I've said this on the air, so this isn't exactly inside information, but in Scott's told me this, there are people that don't like him at all on that staff, right? But management has his back, so he doesn't get concerned about that. But yeah, I think I see him on Fox more than I do CNN these days. They keep running the clips.
Yeah, and Bill Maher commenting, he was talking about Scott Jennings. I think it was when he was talking to, what's her face?
Oh, Maher talked about Jennings? I got to find that.
Yes. Who is the woman? I can't say that about her. The one I talked to you about before. She has dark hair. It's not Erin Burnett.
Someone on CNN, Caitlin Collins.
Caitlin
Collins. Yes.
He had her on.
Yeah, you can't say that on air.
Yeah, if you want to find that clip for Scott with Scott, they're talking together, and Bill Maher calls him Lonely Scott because he's the only conservative voice there. And if you look in Scott Jennings' X bio, it says Lonely Scott.
Oh, I'm going to bring that up today. I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
We might even have that clip. If we do, we can
Yeah,
toss
please
it over
share
to
that.
you.
That's funny. Like I was texting him the other night after the debate watch party. I wanted to see what he said on CNN, but it was like I was thrown up based on what they were saying, about Kamala. So I texted him. I said, "You better be coming on soon, dude." And then I saw him on set. He's sitting there with his computer. He said, "I'm out here. I'm out here." Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's stick. We're going to keep you around because I want to ask you about this. You have grown children.
2 adult children, yeah.
You have a grandbaby.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I do.
Congratulations, Grandpa.
He's a week old today.
What's this like?
Well,
this is completely new. This is first time grandpa territory.
Yeah, my kids are 27 and 24. My adult children, of course, I have Alexa, who's 9.5. But he popped this on me in April during my birthday call. I was celebrating my birthday in April, and it was a FaceTime call. And at the end of the call, he's like, "Yeah, we have some news for you." And I thought, "Oh, you're getting married." And he's like, "No, Natalie's pregnant." So it all happened very fast. And he was afraid to tell me, and he was afraid to tell his mom. But he's very happy. I'm happy for them. And it's been tough. I will say this, this topic interests me because it has been tough to connect with my adult children, but things are getting better. One reason is the grandchild. But with that son in particular in Houston, Annie, you know what brought us together?
What?
The show The Bear on Hulu.
Something to talk about?
Because he's in the restaurant industry, and he told me, and we always have talked entertainment. The kids have gone to movies with me when I was a critic for years, and he said, "Oh, you got to watch The Bear." And essentially, it was very autobiographical for him, and that got us talking and communicating more. And now I feel like the relationship's in a really good spot, perfectly timed for the grandbaby.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
that's what happened.
Well, the first one is communicate regularly. Isn't it great that we live in a time when there are so many ways to communicate? Gone are the days when parents had to rely on expensive long-distance calls or snail mail to know what's going on in their child's life. You guys talk a lot?
What's funny is I think back to when I was my kid's age, and I didn't talk to my parents probably that often.
Yeah.
We are starting to talk more. He's terrible. What's interesting is he's terrible at text messaging, but whenever I call, he answers the phone. So that's, we usually talk. It's the opposite of a lot of kids.
If you're dad, you answer the call when mom or dad rings the phone. Number 2, give them room to live their lives.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
One time I was with my son, this one, a 27-year-old, and his mom calls. And you know what he had her programmed in as?
Uh-oh.
Do not answer this call. That's what came up on his phone, I swear to God.
Yeah, not my son. You better not. I'm telling you right now. Number 3, keep advice and opinions to yourself unless asked.
Well, I was called transphobic a couple of years ago by one of those kids, so yeah, maybe that, but they follow me on Twitter. That was their own fault.
It's difficult if everything you do and say and think is, you get hours a day to do it. It's your job. Do you kind of live a parallel? I feel like I live a parallel life. Like, I never go talk to people and be like, do you know what I do for a living?
Yeah.
If you don't know that this is what I do, I am not telling you.
Really? Because you want to get attacked?
I just want to not have to do this
All the time.
all the
I
time.
don't do that either. Because I don't like talking politics when I'm out with people.
You're a really big deal, though. Everybody knows you.
No.
Yeah.
But I don't like talking when I'm with friends and stuff, or even just social occasions. I don't like getting into politics because it's not fun for me. Here, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
And you get this outlet, and you realize not everybody has that outlet,
I know.
which is what I always remember when people bring it up to me.
Yeah.
Like, I get this. I get to fill 3 hours a day. Most people, you got to harbor it forever until you see somebody who you feel safe with.
Well, everybody thinks they can be a pundit now because of Facebook and podcasts. But yeah, and there are times, and you have this feeling too, where things are happening in the news cycle. And I cannot wait to get on the air, most days because I'm bursting at the seams. But yeah, that's tough for other people.
Chris says, Annie, what do you tell people you do if they don't know? There's a slow walk. It's like, what do you do? It's like, oh, I work in media. Oh, you do? Well, I work for Odyssey. Odyssey, what do they do? Oh, it's radio. What do you do? Well, I work a little on air. Oh, for what station? It's like you got to interview me until I'm like, I work on a Fox News radio station. I have a 3-hour talk show and I talk politics all day.
Yeah, I get, are you the Mark Reardon on the radio? And I usually say, no, that guy's an asshole.
Yeah. I'm gonna use that line next time. Nope, Mark's an asshole. Number 4, share your life with your adult children. Do you talk about you with your adult kids, or is it mostly about them?
Family stuff. Right. But, I'll give you an example. Last night I was talking to my son in Chicago. My son, who was in Columbia, Missouri as a teacher, he just moved to Chicago. And I was teasing him because both these kids, Annie, they're not into sports at all. Mm-hmm. And Becky and I, and even Alexa, she's into sports. She likes watching football and baseball. So I asked Aiden, hey, your fantasy football team set for this week? Knowing he doesn't have a fantasy football team. But it's hard because I can't talk sports with them at all. Sports is a very important part of my life, Annie.
Yeah. Well, number 5 is engage in shared activity. So it sounds like the TV show is something that you've been able to do.
And music. They connect a lot with music on that front, too, with me.
Create new traditions. With a grandbaby, you have to. You don't have a choice.
Yep. Opportunity there for sure.
Are you going to travel here soon?
We're trying to work that out because, with Thanksgiving coming up, his mom's going to go down there. It's rather complicated because it's 10 hours away. But yes, I think the answer to that question is yes.
You said this one's in Houston?
Yeah.
That's a nice place to go, though. Right?
Not in the summer.
Texas. No,
the
but
fall.
Coming up.
The fall. I've never been there. I've been to the airport.
I've been there in the winter around Christmas, and at Christmas time, it was 76 degrees, and we were barbecuing in the backyard.
Nothing wrong with that.
No. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, that's a good plan. Last one is stay adaptable. It says this is perhaps what lies at the core of a successful parent-adult-child relationship, adaptability.
Well, I don't think I adapt very much, so I'd have to think through that one. They better be adapting to me, right?
Yeah. Well,
set in my old ways, Annie. What can I say?
Well,
old and crotchety.
I love that you're a grandpa because being a grandpa softens people.
It does.
It really does.
I had such a great relationship. My mom's mom and dad, they helped raise me. And my grandfather, who, on that side I was so close with, and he died when I was, I think, 11 years old.
Yeah.
10 or 11 years old, yeah.
Well, those are some ways to stay connected with your adult children. And while everyone's kind of dealing with maybe their kids going back to college, they've been gone for a few weeks now, you're thinking about the next time they come back. When they come back, they will have tasted full independence. And I think that first time back from being in school and being on your own, that's a tough adjustment for mom and dad.
Well, they become socialists, just so you know.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
You wait.
Oh, man. Well, we're going to try to avoid that. The results of the YouTube live chat poll, does Joe Biden like Kamala Harris? Reardon, you're a big fat no on not liking Kamala Harris. Brad, you said no?
I said no.
I said Joe Biden, I think, does, but I also said I don't think he knows any better. With 271 votes and 85% of you said no, he does not like her. You guys agree with Donald Trump. All right, Mark Reardon's going to take over Brad's chair in here in just a second. Check out his YouTube channel, stream us on Odyssey app, and keep it right here on 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis is home for conservative talk. Don't go out.
Attention, Missouri residents in need of care at home. If you have Medicaid and need assistance with daily activities, you can receive free in-home care from a loved one. Funded by Medicaid with no cost to you,
Freedom Care, Missouri's #1 home care provider, gives you the power to choose who provides your care, and they get paid instantly. Imagine your daughter, son, a close relative, or trusted friend helping you with cooking, transportation, laundry, and other activities in your own home. You get the help you need, and your caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift. Freedom Care has over 5,000 five-star Google reviews and is #1 in Missouri for in-home care. If you have Medicaid and want great care from a loved one that's 100% free to you, go to freedomcare.com or call 314-557-3027. That's